Hi friends, Questo Enrico here. Questo de Takiendo de Famios de Piplio plays. I'm here with my beloved Rachel. She's the one waving. And you'll see a lovely blue sky of California, moon proudly up in the heavens above, moving around behind us. That's right, we've looped a media source. Isn't that wonderful? Isn't that wonderful? But I actually have a topic I want to start off talking about today, which is instrumental NI. More specifically, when instrumental NI goes wrong. So, sometimes in typology, hi Clayton McCork, we've all encountered the expert doubter, right? You say you're whatever you say you are, but you're probably actually a meh. Now, of course, the thing about these instrumental NI people, because people who typically do this are going to have either your 4th slot NI or your 2nd slot NI. Your ENFJs with your NI2 and TI 4th, or your ESFPs with your NI 4th and CI 7th. Both of them have instrumental NI, which means they think that it's important for them to be doing things with the truth all the time. It's sort of a refusal to acknowledge or refusal to embrace, or the alternative to embracing finality as a goal in and of itself. So you'll see people who want to cast a lot of doubt about somebody else's type can cause a lot of distress. I've seen a lot of people get very distressed about this. And people get very distressed about seeking answers from typologists and not getting good typings and stuff like that, right? But the most important thing to note is that nobody who's telling you what type you are, without having typed you, we don't need to go any further than that, right? If they're telling you, look, I know your type, and they haven't actually typed you, in other words, they haven't engaged with you and asked you questions, they haven't demonstrated to you what their methodology is, and they don't have any real conclusions. And they're just using their intuition instrumentally to achieve an impact's absolute value of SE, either in the dominant or in the I don't know, Jeremiah. Well, I'm saying, look, if somebody's challenging your type, if you feel comfortable and confident in your type, let's say you've been typed by people before, or let's say you haven't, but you just know what type you are, and somebody else is saying, you're presenting yourself as a meh, somebody else is saying you're not a meh, well, usually those kinds of things are not done because a person is interested in getting your type right. They're done because a person's interested in disrupting your emotional equilibrium, you know? So, the point I'm really trying to get at is not so much that people can't know each other's types, but that if you're going to challenge somebody's type, that there are certain kinds of justifications that make some sense, and certain kinds of justifications that are just really, they're just a mask for an attempt to assert dominance of some sort, or to position the NI as a tool to be used to allow the person who's attempting to instrumentally use their NI and their intuition in ways that don't serve the truth at all, because they don't seek finality. whatever their motivations are, you're not going to get anywhere with such parties because they're not utilizing introverted thinking as a means of sort of standardizing the approach. And concurrently, they're not valuing finality as a goal. No matter how final something is, they'll want to potentially revisit it. Who's calling now? Hello.
Hello, hi, Mr. Strauss.
Hi.
Hi. I'm wondering, do you mind to send another? Jeffrey has a PayPal customer that Jeffrey needs to give him $40 refund. Do you mind to send another one for him? He's in Singapore, so he doesn't take Venmo.
Okay, yeah, send me the specs.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Okay.
And do you have a moment?
Oh, I'm live streaming.
Oh, okay. I'll call you another time.
Okay, cool.
Thank you.
Bye. Okay. So, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, it makes sense that somebody who's in the typological community and who wants to continually use their introverted intuition as an instrumental value, not as an absolute value, is going to run into some problems because you can only do a limited amount of work with just your intuition, right? And if you don't have it backed up with sort of the sturdy reliability of TI, you're just shitting in everybody's swimming pool, you know? The thing is, it's fine to not be, an expert on cognitive functions or something. That's totally fine. The problem is there are a couple of types that even though they don't know anything, they tend to cause a lot of sort of feather ruffling unnecessarily, So I think the strategy is to simply say to these people when they try to come at you like that, just go, okay, would you like to type me? Let's see what your methodology is. And of course they don't have one, right? They just have their gut. Well, I mean, and that's part of the problem. Is when you have instrumental NI with TI below it. Hi, Fly Guy. I mean, part of the problem is that. Oh, you're ESTP now? Okay, cool. Part of the problem is that you want to use the truths to create impacts, Whether SE's in the first slot or in the third slot, you want to use truths to create impacts. And static resolved matters aren't really subject to a lot of new impacts, right? So the way to create impacts is to disrupt those static resolved matters by trying to cast aspersion on them or doubt on them. But the problem is, Rachel's really coffee tonight. She already apologized to me about it before I noticed it. I'm noticing it now. Well, I'm coffee today too. I noticed I've been quite coffee today. I once supposed that ENFJ caused this one girl a lot of stress that led to a 2-part rigorous TI retyping. Yeah, well, I mean, for example, that, sure. Now, that individual, I believe, is now going around calling himself an INTJ. So, again, what you see what I'm seeing there is somebody who's obviously much more concerned about other people's perceptions than anything else, right? Rachel has not been watching any YT clips from the Beatles documentary. We have Disney Plus, so we could watch the Beatles documentary on Disney Plus. But, I don't... As I was saying to Rachel the other day, I love the Beatles music, but I have never liked any of the Beatles video projects. So... I'm not that interested in seeing it. I have enjoyed an occasional interview with Paul McCartney, who usually has interesting things to say about art and stuff, you know. He's a wise man when it comes to music. Incredibly wise. You know, he knows how to write a song. But yeah, so, I mean, the thing is, like, yeah, Sean tries to type, Mackenzie as, I forget what he tried to type her as, ESFJ, ESFP, you know, saying, well, you know, you're not really TI. But the thing is, when he actually engaged with her, he basically asked her no questions and just talked at her the whole time. So, well, either way, you're seeing an incredible amount of effort being put into perception management, right? It's either dominant FE, 4th slot TI, or it's 6th slot FE being demonstrative out in the world, and he's constantly feeling pressured, I guess.
And Chris Chapin, I will look into the clips from YouTube of the Beatles. I don't know anything about it. Honestly, when I heard that Peter Jackson was behind it, I felt like a little cringy.
No, what's this guy, Sean?
But I don't know anything.
I mean, the thing is, for people who want to deal with typology, who aren't on Team Eric, they have a very serious problem. Which is, I'm saying, here are some definitive things. And the only thing they can say is, those things aren't definitive. So, it's like, we can definitively check to see how much creativity somebody can display on the fly. It's something you can measure. We can check to see how quickly or on the fly or naturally somebody can do introverted thinking style problems. We can check to see how quickly, naturally, comfortably somebody can relate small details, how much they engage with their SI, and what that looks like, you know? The thing is, with SI, there are these great physical cues you can look to that I can't use as a typologist, that I wish I could. I can see it in Rachel, the lack of SI stuff. The lack of yawning, the lack of rise, the lack of stretching compared to me. When she stretches, she's choosing to do stretching, you know. When I stretch, it's like that kind of stretching. So, well, it's true that typology is tricky in part because there's a monetary consideration. That's true. But unlike astrology, it's not purely about who does the art in the most appealing way. In other words, people can be actually correct and incorrect with typology for good reasons because the definitions are set up such that, at least conditionally, within the terms established, people will land somewhere on a spectrum of test results on these various skills tests that seem to link quite closely, although they are not identical to cognitive functions as per articulated. So, the thing is, that what I learned from some of the comments right away from my earlier genealogy short question that I put up is that ISFJs can do that because it has as much to do with SI as it does with TI. Who is my mother's father's wife's husband's only daughter's husband's daughter's brother's grandmother was, I think, the question. And the answer was grandmother. If I repeated it correctly there. It was 7 steps, I think. Is it fair to say someone could be typed incorrectly by the wrong line of questioning? Could they be mistakenly based on the superficial? Well, I mean, it wouldn't be the line of questioning that was the problem. Obviously, it would be the weight, conclusions, analysis the person puts into the data they're getting back from it. It's going to be decisive. So it's like, if I ask any question of you, let's say, do you like some kinds of pie better than others? Like, do you like apple pie better than cherry pie? Do you like apple pie better than lemon meringue pie? Let me ask you that question, Joshua. Do you like a certain kind of pie a lot and a certain kind of pie you don't like?
Hi, Winston's mom. How are you doing?
And if you can answer that, then I'll demonstrate what I'm talking about. So it's obviously, that line of questioning isn't very significant in its questions, right? It doesn't, the question, whatever your answer, okay, I don't eat pie. Okay. So, that's revelatory of a number of different things, right? That answer. You probably have eaten pie before. And if you were of the mindset to keep track of such things, you'd probably have a preference of some kinds of pie over some other kinds of pie. I doubt it's the case that you've never had any pie and that you genuinely have zero preference if you were to be offered a piece of pie in a context where you'd feel it was appropriate to accept it and were offered a set of different pies, you would have some preference probably. So your answer is revelatory of a lot of things, you know. It's revelatory potentially of, like, if you were going to interpret it in a straight up like, assume it at face value for what it is, you'd say it's indicative of knowledge over feelings, you know, like knowledge over deliberation. But it's obviously not the sort of thing that you can get anything definitive from without actually having a conversation with a person, following up and asking, oh, why did you choose to say I don't eat pie, rather than try to seek some sort of preference, no matter how minor it might be, that you may have some knowledge about pie. Well, I know I hate pumpkins in general, so I don't like pumpkin pie. You might say that. You could provide some information, right? But you chose not to. So I'd have to ask you why, and then depending on what your answer is, I'd probably have to ask more kind of why and, okay, well, what are you thinking there? And what's your metacognition going on there behind that? And so forth. So it's not really, the point is, it's not really the line of questioning that matters. It's the line of, it's the capacity of the questioner to dig out from cues, whether they're red herrings or legit, what they're indicative of, whether it's just a coincidence that lines up or if it's meaningful. That means you need to have some sort of sense of which kinds of data are more powerful kinds of data in terms of drawing conclusions. I mean, the thing to remember also is we're talking about several different kinds of tests that I at least administer that include some that are skills tests that link more strongly and less gameably than other approaches, but are limited in what you can include from them. And then there's values tests, because people can be quite revelatory about their type when you get them to reveal which things they actually find as absolute values and which things they only find as instrumental values, because that'll tell you a lot about slot placement. And then of course there's a lot of questions that, like, certain types kind of give textbooky kind of answers, so those are what you might call just your strong correlations that aren't necessarily linked in a causal fashion or in a rational explanation or analysis fashion. All in all, what it comes down to is there are certain things that can eliminate definitively certain types, and then you work from there until you get down to the one type that they definitely have to be. Each situation is its own case study. It shouldn't be illegal, but it shouldn't be celebrated. I don't know what you're talking about exactly. Oh, abortion? Well, guys, I've discussed this already. I'll say it again. We shouldn't have any more abortions because, obviously, we need to make sex between single people not in relationships illegal for COVID reasons, to keep people COVID safe, not to mention HIV safe. And what we realize now is that people who make new children, what are those things that come out of them? They are just 8-pound biohazards. We cannot allow people to introduce willy-nilly all these new disease vectors into the world that they call their so-called children. Well, you say children, I say biohazard. And all I see is a bunch of snot and saliva and a lack of consistency in mask wearing among newborn infants. You cannot trust a newborn infant to keep their mask on. So, COVID tells us everything we need to know now. Now that we understand that saving lives is the most important thing. Now that there's a new variant out to scare us, Omicron's here. I'm sure we'll see the numbers in the papers. We'll see that just scads and scads and scads of people somehow mysteriously dying from these things. Anyway, that's why it's paramount that our primary number one priority at all times is saving lives. That means no, you can't have sexual intercourse anymore. That means no, you can't have babies. Babies are disease. They're basically their own variation of COVID. Each baby is its own COVID variant, basically. If you think about how COVID susceptible they are, how likely they are to get it at some point during their life, how likely they are to pass it on, how unlikely they are to save enough lives. How can we have babies anymore? We can't have them. They're not safe. I want to get rid of walking. It's not safe. Everybody should be pushed in a wheelchair. And the person who's pushing them in a wheelchair should themselves be in a wheelchair being pushed by somebody else. It's just pushers all the way down. No, listen, we're saving lives, Ryan. We can prevent new COVID hosts, that's fine. But no matter what, the sacrifice, no matter how much it costs, no matter how much absurdity we have to put up with, no matter how many costumes we have to wear, no matter how much biohazard suits we have to put on, no matter how many gas masks I gotta don, the number one priority is desperately, constantly save lives. Okay? Are you saving lives right now? If not, aren't you kind of killing them? I'm saving lives. That's why we're inside. This is a fake outside I've got for you. We are safely tucked away inside. As non-essential people, we can enjoy our time safely tucked away inside while the essential heroes do their heroic work on the front lines out there, exposing themselves to God knows what variant. Omicron? What's the letter comes after that? Nigglety-poo? Is that the next Greek letter after Omicron? Is it Nigglety-poo?
It could be.
I think it is. Okay. So, no, you're not allowed to abort fetuses because you have to pay the punishment for having gotten pregnant in the first place. You're not allowed to get pregnant in the first place, so you can't have a fetus, so you can't abort it. Duh. Since getting pregnant is illegal, abortion doesn't exist anymore because there aren't any more fetuses. That's how it works. We don't need to worry about the whole abortion fight anymore. I've solved it. We'll just make sex illegal for people who aren't already in a monogamous relationship. It won't affect me. It'll be fine.
Okay.
Rachel and I will be fine. We're already in a monogamous relationship. We get grandfathered in by this. The rest of you young people out there who are single and stuff, you keep your dirty biohazard crotch away from other people's dirty biohazard crotches, because crotchally is one of the primary ways that, speculatively at least, one can imagine that people spread everything from butter to COVID to the flu. Who knows what they spread? Cream cheese? Maybe they're spreading the news. The point is, it's dangerous, and we need to prioritize safety. Get some masks on those people, for God's sakes. I want them masked head to toe. Nothing but masks. I would wonder if you chose another dessert, and I said, yes, I enjoy that. Where would you go with that, and how does that apply to my type? Well, I mean, what I would note is that you're trying to stay sort of intuitively ahead of the questions by asking the frame of reference, which is revelatory of certain things, you know. And I would note that if you had said, I say, okay, do you have a certain kind of cake you prefer over another kind of cake? And you said, yeah, I like chocolate cake and I don't like lemon cake. And I would probably follow up with, well, do you think that's because you have either of those linked to specific positive experiences in the past or negative experiences in the past? Or is it just a general sense that you don't like that? No, I remember. The day was June 21st, 1998. I was at Mary's party and they had that so-called lemon meringue pie. I tell you what it was a soup of lemon syrup with a bunch of whipped cream on top of it that she called meringue. It was absolutely terrible. I have not been able to take a bite of lemon meringue pie since. You could give me that answer. That would be revelatory. But you probably wouldn't. if you're looking for any, what are you looking for? Well, you can check whether it's, you can check high up, well, you can check whether it's front or back by basically doing like Anky Pinky style stuff, which is, you know, even 4th slot NE can be pretty good at that. But you have to push on the 4th slot NE a bit. The last ISTJ I typed was Delilah's boyfriend. And, you know, I was just trying to kind of quick type him because I don't think anybody wanted the evening to turn into full typing session of Homie. So I was kind of trying to get in the questions in between, you know, Thanksgiving, father, family stuff. And first I typed him as maybe INTJ, then I typed him as something else. Then I realized, oh, you're ISTJ. You're a total ISTJ. He's totally like Cameron, actually, when I realized it. My daughter's boyfriend's an ISTJ. As soon as he came to the dinner table, I thought, okay, this guy's got either 4th or 7th slot FE. Because of just the lack of you know, nuance, I guess you'd say. It's sort of like this forced presentation of recalled FE requirements, but there's no actual natural sort of give and take FE going on. So I was thinking, I think I typed him first as ISTP. And I said, no, you're not an ISTP, you're not TI, you're FI. And I'm like, okay, well maybe you're an INTJ. And then I realized, no. When he started telling some SI shit, like that thing, right? He started giving me some SI stories like that, and I realized, oh, he's an ISTJ. It's pretty straightforward at that point. Everything fell into place, made perfect sense. Of course, I had already said to him, I'd thrown out 2 possibilities, and of course he's like, okay, well, yeah, first you said this, and you said this, now you say this, what is it? I'm like, well, I mean, I was just sort of speculating at first, trying to figure it out. Are you a this now? Are you a this now? But now I have figured it out. You're an ISTJ. But of course he's not gonna put much weight into that, both because he's an SI Dom and he's TI countervalued and his NI is in the 8th slot, and you know, that means he doesn't have a lot of faith. He doesn't have a lot of faith in this kind of mumbo jumbo, you know. Yeah, well, exactly. He doesn't have a lot of faith in this kind of mumbo jumbo. So, and that's fine. I like the guy. I think he's a good boyfriend for Delilah. He's got, you know, he's got a good work history with, you know, like he's got a good resume working for Oracle he got right out of college, went to work for Oracle. Now he's taking off. He saved up some money so that he could take off and not work for a stretch so he could get this additional schooling that'll get him a higher paying job or something like that. You know, a responsible guy. And not, and cool, you know, not a dick at all, or no. A cool guy, you know, he's cool.
Yeah, he seems like a nice guy. Like.
Yeah, although I will say, as far as I can tell, he's put 0 energy into finding me mushrooms. That's a demerit on his record. On his semi-permanent record, though. Don't worry. It's just on his semi-permanent record. I know he can get them. I think. Delilah could too, though. She's not trying very hard either. Come on, people. You know, I went and signed up for a couple, like, meetup groups. Like, decriminalize mushrooms today. And I thought, well, that sounds like a good place to get mushrooms. I haven't actually followed up. I want things to just fall in my lap. I don't like to have to go chase around. Like, what am I? Chevy Chase? Chevy Chase around? Mm-mm. I ain't no Chevy Chase. And you ain't no heavy mace. Well, you gotta make sure it's the right kind, Jeremiah Fix. You can't just eat any old mushrooms. It's gotta be the right kind. It's gotta say food on it. Look for the mushrooms that say, it'll be printed on the bottom of them. Underneath the cap. You'll see it printed in small spores. Food. Yeah, well you can, but what if you eat deadly nightshade? That wouldn't be good. You don't want to eat any deadly nightshade. Come to Phoenix, huh? Okay. Sold. Let me just get some money together. Let me sell some more sessions here. And it's been an expensive beginning of the month. Why should he come out? He said he is straight. Oh, I'm going to come out to Phoenix as Mushroom Curious. That's all. Really? Wow, you sound like my new best friend. Alright, well, we're going to have to try to organize a trip to Phoenix here pretty quick. Let me put a couple things together. How long do mushrooms keep for? A long, long, long time. They're dry, and they can't get any more, like, fungusy. They're already mushrooms. Think about it. That really does unleash the joys of my heart. Like nothing else does. You know, there are a lot of drugs in the world. But there are only so many opportunities to do them. Wise words, Eric, wise words. I don't think they have anywhere in the desert near me that you can get peyote caps just out in the desert. I don't think so. I've never looked into it really. I kind of know what it looks like. It kind of looks like a flat, round little cactus, but I've never really looked for them. The deserts around here, they have like 3 kinds of cactuses. It's like, there aren't that many different kind of cactuses. There's the super spiny kind, there's the tree, the Joshua trees, there's those other kind. You know, it's like, and I'm a cactus fan, okay? So, when I'm telling you it's an unspectacular cactus landscape here in California, I am not lying to you. Arizona, all of a sudden, you start getting into some more robust cacti diversity. You get to see cacti that have brilliant flowers blooming in the spring. You get to see cacti that are more round, some that are a little bit more cylindrical, some that are a little taller, you know, variations. California's got like the shitty cactuses. It's just like, God just threw out the leftovers in California. Here, have these leftover shitty cacti. But, shut up. You already got plenty of stuff. ordering. I'm not ordering anything. I'm talking about going on a vacation. Or an overnighter or something, you know. You have saguaros. You got saguaros coming out the wazoo. Desert INTJ. And that's not a comfortable place to have saguaros coming out of. I'd rather have them come out of my kazoo. I don't have a kazoo, but if I did, and saguaros were coming out of it, it would be an awfully large kazoo, or very small saguaros. How do you really know that somebody's extroverted intuition? Well, you punch them in the face and see what happens. That's how you know.
Do you, sir?
Excellent. Thank you, my darling.
You're welcome.
Oliver Lionel comes in with the best joke of the evening. Kids, doing drugs was the biggest mistake of my life. And by drugs, I mean your mom. Did someone punch me in the face? No. I thought you said the boyfriend was cool. Rachel has no Sancho, trust me. She and I are, as I said the other night in bed, I said to her, Rachel, you're my all-the-time pal. We are together all the time.
Yeah.
Your partner tried your TI test? Well, look, I'll be honest, Eliana D. I am drawing some conclusions that it's as much an SI test as it is a TI test. ISTJs might get it. ISFJs might get it. ESTJs might get it. Because if you can remember it, then you can work through it at your pace in your head, right? You can remember it after one thing. I can remember it after a couple of things, you know. It's like, I still remember it. It's your mother's, father's, wife's, husband's, only daughter's, husband's, only daughter's, brother's grandmother in relation to me. Is typing an art or a science or neither? Well, we don't have in place something equivalent to a test for blood type. So it's not that definitive, unfortunately, or fortunately. I don't know. I mean, the thing is, it should get that definitive. We're getting there. I mean, because at least we're nailing down vectors upon which people display consistently and less gameably in specific ways. It's a more robust frame of reference than anything else psychology has in normal psychology. Now, granted, I think that one of the most robust frames of reference psychology has in terms of practical psychology is attachment disorder theory. I think that's very well established, well proved, but that's because it's linking to something so specific. It's saying, how will a particular kind of abuse at a particular time in life necessarily damage all people? Now, and in the same way. And they may express that damage that same damage in different affects. Like an INFP might express that damage differently than an INFJ or something like that. But no matter what, they're going to express the same kind of pushing away people they might get close to, because of an expectation that they developed early in childhood that people can't be trusted and that people will betray them. Is treating the genealogy questions as a state machine moving into TE realm? Well, the genealogy questions are often what I use to try to distinguish between SITI and NITI. So NITI doesn't do as well with the genealogy questions because they require more SI. And so they have a very limited scope of use, but I think I probably have overstated them as TI questions in the past, and they have more of an SI component than I've acknowledged. The other kinds of TI questions that don't have that SI component, your sum, all, none relations, your syllogistic logics, your process of elimination problems, and other kind of deductive reasoning problems, those, depending on the length of them, you can do a better job of eliminating the SI component. So, I would like to see TE protocols put into place, like that if we actually exercise these tests and we do a thorough job and we plot, where these people fall on the spectrum on the skills, how they reveal, ideally, rather than... the thing that makes it somewhat an art is, of course, and the thing that makes psychology always going to have some component of the art to it, is that human beings are open systems. They are not closed systems. Which means when you know about something, a test or something, it's spoiled on you. Like, for example, the Milgram test might have worked on me until I learned about the Milgram test, at which point there's no way in how anything like the Milgram test would work on me. And in fact, I learned an important lesson about life reading about the Milgram experiment, right? So that's the conundrum psychology faces. What I'm offering is by far the most robust, best thought out, most correct metaframe that also has genuinely strong open system resistance built in with skills tests that link to cognitive functions. So it's way better than anything else psychology has. And that's the thing to remember is, sure, we'd like to measure typology against the metric of a hard science, but it's kind of unfair, right? It's like, we're already doing so much better than normal psychology and explaining the human experience and concretizing it in meaningful ways, that to say, yeah, but it's not as concrete as blood type is, I guess, arguing from the margins. Yeah, well, response time is very important too. So, I can tell the difference between first and second slot TI and not, even if they get all the answers right, by response time and how much they think about it, right? You can also see how a person approaches a problem right at the outset if they're not trying to game it. If people are trying to game it, then obviously you've got more of a challenge, but most people can't out-intuit me like that. The only ones who can, I'm going to type them as what they are, which is some kind of intuition, Dom. I'm not, it's like, I'm defended on all areas, right? I'm not an idiot, so I'm more intuitive than the vast majority of people I type. Which means I'm consistently one step ahead. But if I'm not one step ahead, that's extremely revelatory about their type. You know? Okay, so there's a lot of interest here, Rachel, in you relating some of the story of the aura reading you got from Lady Lou.
Oh, sure. Her aura reading was really detailed. We definitely, it took about an hour. I let her do most of the talking, and left the questions to the end, or anything that I had to like add to what she had to say. But she said that overall I had a really nice aura and energy about me, and she went through in her technique the 7 chakras, and she closed her eyes and meditated on a color that she saw, and then the images that came to her mind when she was seeing your aura. So it was pretty detailed.
22? Yeah, 22. That's what I say. What's 4 plus 5 plus 6 plus 7? It's 22. Yeah. Rachel, what's 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6?
3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6 plus 7.
No 7. 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6. What is it?
I don't know.
Okay. Do you want to figure it out? No? It's fine.
I have to use my fingers.
3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6 is 12 plus 6, which is 18.
18.
What you snacking on, says Sean. She's snacking on Doritos. Chip of the ages. I think if we had to award a best chip from the year 1000 to the year now, it would be awarded to the red Doritos. Sure, we all have our Cool Ranch phase. No, let's not deny it. We all went through a Cool Ranch phase. Where it was like, oh, I'm going to get the Cool Ranch Doritos. But at the end of the day, what do we all do? We say, you know what? I'm going back to the red Doritos. Isn't that true? Who can deny the truth of this? Nobody can deny it. Who affirms the truth of it? Everybody. Who hasn't had this experience of loving Doritos and then briefly going through an understandable but ill-advised Cool Ranch phase before returning home to the truth of nacho cheese?
Yes.
You know, who hasn't done that? We've all been there. Are you in your Cool Ranch phase right now? Sean's in their Cool Ranch phase right now.
Wow.
I'm sorry to hear that. I know that blue wrapper is attractive. It sucks you in. It sucks you in like a vacuum cleaner.
It does.
Yeah. Well then, you start with your Cool Ranch Doritos and you go, hey, maybe I'll start putting ranch dressing on everything too. Mm-hmm. And then you realize, okay, I need help. I'm not alone. I need to go to Chick Shadle Ranch Center. Where they force feed you nothing but ranch flavors until you puke, and then you don't want it anymore. When you were a kid, you wanted the blue everything. Blue raspberry was huge. Look, what good blue foods are there? Blueberry pancakes, blueberry muffins, those are good. Those are good blue foods. What's another good blue food? There's not that many good blue foods.
No. There aren't.
There just really aren't. Raspberries aren't even blue. Calling it blue raspberry doesn't make it blue.
Yeah, I don't know why.
I mean, you should just say it's blue. Well, I guess it's just blue colored raspberry flavor. Black currant ice cream is blue? Let me ask you this. If blue food is so good, then why don't you eat the sky? Somebody's thinking.
I'm so glad that you asked that question.
And that somebody is me. A blue Hawaii. Now, sure, I've had a blue Hawaii before. I don't remember how blue it was, or why it was blue. But nature doesn't produce a lot of blue food. You know? There aren't any blue cows. There aren't any blue deer. There are no blue rabbits. There are no blue doves. There are no blue people. Eggplants are purple. Boba Fett, don't you get your purple out of my blue. Get your purple out of my blue. Buddy, that stuff behind me, that's blue. Your so-called aubergine, aka eggplant, which is neither egg nor plant, but rather just a big ass dildo growing on a plant. Purple is not a subtype of blue. It's not a blast plate jumper subtype of blue, okay? It's purple. If you listen to Barney, you know that purple is the color that's fun, fun, fun. If God wanted us to eat blue food, He would have made food blue. True.
It's true.
Welcome back to Evangelical Hour, where we praise the Lord and spread the truth about the Jesus' ways. Today we're talking about blue. God don't think you should eat it if it's blue. Ezekiel 22:4-5. Don't eat that blue thing, and so saith the Lord. And they didn't eat it, and as a consequence, they didn't end up with frogs in their mouth. Let's talk about punishments for the heathens. God has had a lot of creative punishments for the heathens. But you remember our neighbors, the Darcys, from down the block, and you remember what happened to them.
Yes.
Yeah. They blasphemed, and they were struck not by lightning, but by thunder. Most people can't get struck by thunder, but if you is subject to the Lord's wrath, that's right, Boba Fett. It's the time to repent. It is not the time to tempt fate. Our Lord above is a loving and powerful Lord, but He is also, He has His pimping hand like any good father figure does. And if you get out of line, well, I know another friend from back east, no more friend, R.I.P., rest in peace. He was caught doing some blasphemy, and he went on a little swim in the river, and he got completely devoured by crayfish. Completely devoured. It was a plague of crawdads.
We have.
Crawdad, they was tearing his flesh from him in tiny little chunks. It was terrible. That's what happens when you turn your cheek away from the Lord and towards the devil. In between the Lord, we already get two offensive lines between us and the devil. We get the Holy Ghost. He's playing offensive line. We get the Jesuses. He's playing the offensive line. We get the Virgin Mary. She's a big offensive lineman. So we ain't got no reason to let ourselves get tackled by the devil. Everybody knows he arm tackles anyway. He's an arm tackler. You ain't gonna bring down a powerful back like me with an arm tackle. Especially not if you the devil, because I was a righteous man. I run a righteous route.
Yes, you
I
do.
catch a righteous ball. I make righteous yards after the catch. And behold, your own safety cannot grab hold of me and drag me to the ground with his weak-ass arm tackle. So saith the Lord.
So saith the Lord.
That's Book of Paul, 14, 22, 22, 24. All right, we're going to take a call now from our listening audience. Hello? Hello, who's this? Yes, it's Muriel. You're on the line, Muriel. What would you like to talk about? Yeah, can you pray for me and my people to find our lost livestock that wandered off the other day when we left the gate open because I was stuck there with the... Okay, yeah, we'll pray for you, Muriel. Lord, help Muriel find her missing livestock. Help her find them, whether they be cows, whether they be sheep, whether they be... What other kind of animals is there? Pigs, whether they be whatever else. Any of the animals that Noah had on his ark is holy for people to eat. Noah's ark, a lot of people don't understand, it was really Noah's pantry. Noah's pantry. He wanted to make sure he still had good food after the waters done receded. Because a man can't eat a rainbow. You know, I'm not, no offense, Lord, thank you for the rainbow. But you can't barbecue it. And I've heard about the pot of gold. But I don't even think that's a godly thing. I think that may be witches made that up. Witches and the occult. You know, you think it's safe to watch non-religious television, but if you watch those shows like the Harry Potter and the show about that lady who goes after those the vampires.
Oh yeah.
You watch those shows, what's gonna happen? They've got symbols, Masonic symbols, symbols of eyes, symbols of triangles, symbols of looking. And what happens? The demon's gonna go right into you, and pretty soon you're gonna be possessed by a devil. Maybe even a bad devil. Because, you know, they got different levels of devils. All the way from 1 to 1242.
1242?
Yeah, that's Satan. He's level 1242. Level 1 devil, it's just like, he kind of picks on you a little bit. It makes fun of your dirty fingernails. You could live with that, but I recommend exercising. I try to exercise every morning, all my demons. I go jogging, I play handball. I don't know why.
You do these
You know,
things
I don't know why they bring a priest around to exercise people.
No.
Don't they know how to exercise themselves?
Yeah.
All you need is a treadmill. All you need to go. You don't even need that. You need a street and a pair of shoes. Go run down the street. Nothing's stopping you from exercising yourself.
Yeah.
Jeffrey Epstein was an ENFJ. You can see the horrible things that happen with that. Instrumental NI and that. Absolute value SE in the third selfish. They just think, hey, I'm just gonna fuck everything I see. From now until I die. There's no way to live. That's not godly.
No, it's not godly.
It's a process of fornication. Okay? Fornicate with thy neighbor and your dick will fall off. Ezekiel's 21, 42, 19, 12. It says it right there. Don't eat the blue food neither. It's the next line. Learning about Jesus here with me tonight is bringing you. If you think that moon's high up in the sky, just think about heaven. It's even higher.
It's even higher?
We gotta reach for the stars and hope that we can at least grab the moon and use that as a vault to shoot us straight up into heaven.
That's how we're going to get to heaven, through the moon, by having the moon.
You miss all the shots you don't take.
That's the saying.
You're never gonna touch the sky. Don't reach for the stars.
I'm reaching.
If you was Jesus, would you live far away from the stars or close to the stars?
Definitely close.
Well, yeah. So, of course, that's where they put the heaven.
Close to the stars.
Close to them. That's why you gotta reach for them.
Oh.
And you gotta never give up, no matter how dire the situation look. You just say, "Oh Lord in heaven, send the Holy Ghost down to lift up my skirt, tickle my bottom, and make it hurt. Make me sing and pull my arm, and then say, yeah, 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 yarn." That's one of my prayers I do every day. I say that prayer when I get up. Before we go to bed, Rachel and I always say the same prayer together. We say, if we die before we wake, Lord, fuck off. Because what's up with that shit? I got plans for tomorrow.
I got plans for tomorrow, too.
You know, you got to respect the Lord. Don't blaspheme him. But at the same time, I mean, what's this dying before I wake shit, right?
I know.
I'm a godly man. I ain't going. No, don't be killing me off now. I'm the main character, for God's sake. I am the main character. This is my main love interest. You can't kill us off. You maybe kill off, I don't know, Jeffrey Epstein. I'll be fine. Kill him off. That'd be fine.
I think he's already dead, so kill.
You know what I love? I love when people use the word actually. Actually is one of my favorite words. Epstein was actually an INFP. No, it wasn't, you dumbass. Didn't you read Book of Luke, Book of Paul, Book of John 21, 14, 9, 12, 2? It says, you a big dumbass. The Lord speaketh. Listen, for I turn your ass to a pillar of salt. Amen. Praise the Lord, and Eric's right. Boba Fett, don't you be turning into no Kathy now. We don't have no Kathy up in here. You know Kathy. You know the cartoon character Kathy. You know what she says a lot. Ack. It's her favorite word.
Yes, it is.
She has co-opted it. You can no longer use the word ack without turning into Kathy.
Oh, no.
So saith the Lord, so saith we. As godly folk, we oppose the inclusion of shellfish into dishes with cheese when there's oatmeal involved. It's part of the original from the Hebrew translation of the Bible that says, don't mix lobster and cheese and oatmeal together. God says that's gross. It was a direct translation, and we observe that, and we go with the original translation, keep the Sabbath day holy, And you better keep the rest of the days holy too, just in case. That's why we mostly don't do nothing. God likes a lazy man to just observe the glory of his wonders and just say, hey, you did a fabulous job unlocking the trees, the animals. I like this. You know, are you behind the Mitsubishis? That Mitsubishi heater over there, God? Or is that the Japanese? I always get you and the Japanese confused. Michael Jackson bought the whole Beatles catalog. Yeah, he did. Some time back. He had to sell it, I believe, as he went into bankruptcy late in his life. He said, oh, Lord, let it be, let it be. Ow! I want you to let my Beatles records be. But the bankers took them away. And they said, no, no, no. 'Cause you're broke. Michael Jackson. Yes, you're broke. Michael Jackson. You weren't wise with money. Now you're broke. And so now he doesn't have any of those anymore. He was like Mr. T. Mr. T, another person who famously wasted his money.
MC Hammer too.
Oh, was it MC Hammer I'm thinking of, maybe? Maybe it was MC Hammer I'm thinking of. One of those two, either MC Hammer or Mr. T, he had a servant that he hired, and because he didn't really have anything for him to do, he told him, like, go pick up the leaves off the grass one at a time with his hands. It's an inefficient way to gather leaves from the lawn. But I guess you want to keep your servant busy serving. Of course, at some point he realized, do I really need to be spending money on this?
Right. When does that question come in?
Nicolas Cage also blew all his money. He says yes to any movie now. Well, as long as he keeps saying yes to more movies, he should get more money, I guess. You know. I say yes to making this YouTube video.
Yeah.
And I pity the fool who doesn't super chat me at least $10. It's worth it.
It is worth it.
I mean, the playfulness of this banter has been off the charts.
Right?
The charming camaraderie.
We care about our viewers.
That's priceless. You know? I don't think it would be unfair for us to ask for $10 million per person for this. That'd be a fair price.
That is fair.
That's the value of it, you know?
Yeah. If you add it up with money.
I pity the fool who challenges Mr. T. I pity the fool, I pity him, and I hope that he pities me. I don't really pity the fool. I don't really think about the fool a whole lot. He doesn't deserve a lot of pity. More likely to irritate me than to feel sorry for him. I pity the pool, which gets peed in by people. I pity the wool that gets chopped off the sheeps and loses its attachment to its former owner. I pity the spool from which thread is unwound, as it too loses the only thing that makes it useful, the thread wrapped around it. But I don't pity the fool. Not one bit. Who is a famous archetypal ISTP? Black Widow. How about James Bond? But I'm trying to think of a real life one. Like, A real life ISTP. Well, probably. Do you think that Tom Cruise is a real life ISTP who's just gone crazy with was it Scientology? Not sociology, Scientology?
Yeah.
Chuck Norris seems like an ISTP. Yeah, I agree with that. Chuck Norris seems very ISTP-ish.
Yeah, he does.
I would say, my doctor, he's an ISTP. You don't know him, though, of course. Hands to the Queen and King of the TWFP Church, for may their meanderings be fruitful and garner more direct thoughts of grandeur. Thanks, Peter. It's a great prayer. I really appreciate that. Jean-Claude Van Damme. Possibly, but I think SFP. I think more likely SFP for Jean-Claude Van Damme. I don't think ISTPs are that rapey. Adam Carolla. I don't know who that is.
He was in that movie.
Russell Crowe. Is Russell Crowe an ISTP?
Possibly.
I'd believe Russell Crowe might be an ISTP. Christian Slater? I don't think so. I think Christian Slater might be an ISFJ or something. Think Uyghur? That name sounds really familiar. See that guy who debated Ben Shapiro that one time? It was a complete fucking moron of an ENFJ. That guy's an ENFJ, if I'm who I'm thinking of. I would say Collins, an ISTP. I know some ISTPs, but I just don't know any. I can't think of famous ones, really.
They say that Bruce Willis is an ISTP.
Bruce Willis seems like an ESTP to me. But he might be an ISTP. Let's see.
It's Wolverine.
Like Kobe Bryant, maybe, was an ISTP?
Oh, yeah. Winston's mom had mentioned Kobe Bryant.
Oh, she did?
Yes.
Kobe Bryant was, I think, an ISTP. If you see interviews with him, he's so, like, smart, but not creative. and susceptible to, like, you know, he cheated on his woman, but I believe he probably did only end up cheating on her once. And I think he realized he couldn't he can't be a TI dom and engage in that kind of hypocrisy, you know? So I think he actually turned his ways around. I don't think he was a philanderer after that. But that's just my guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan, probably an ISTP as well.
Mm-hmm.
I would say. That makes sense. Who else? You know what's weird? I believe I've identified an INTP sports broadcaster. Okay? You don't get them very often. Because most sports broadcasters either come from... There's a broadcasting end where it's like you got people who want to be TV anchors, broadcasters, and then you've got your color commentator end, which is usually former sports players, right? But there's this guy, Rod Gilmore, who is, I believe, a color commentator for ESPN college football. And no, he's quite good. He's really quite good. He's really insightful and super chill. He's one of my very favorite broadcasters, actually. Blessedly, we turned on the SC game the other night, Pac-12 Network. Who's nowhere to be found? Bill Walton. Fingers crossed. Come on, Omnicron. I'm just kidding. I don't wish ill on Bill Walton. I just want him to stop ever doing... I just want him to stop ever doing any broadcasting. Yeah. Famous ISTPs are like some, Japanese sword maker or something.
Yeah.
And Japanese are kind of obsessed with ISTPs. With them being wholly logical, but silent, focused on one thing, and being elite at it. Guts. Famous ISTP. I don't know who Guts is. Rorono Zora? I don't know who that is either.
Me neither. Aurora Zora.
I'd say maybe that famous soccer player from Argentina. What's his name? Messi. Lionel Messi. I think Lionel Messi might be a ISTP. I'm Brent Musburger. My eyes go down like this. Pele? I'm too young for Pele. By the time I was old enough to remember anything about Pele, it was the very, very end of his career. But Ronaldo's not an ISTP. Ronaldo's either ESFP or possibly ESTP. You look at somebody like what type is Roger Federer? He's an interesting fellow.
Yeah.
He might be
ENTJ?
I don't think so. I think, it might be weird to say this, but because I don't really have enough to base this on, except just the story of... See, Federer is the antidote to the 10,000 hours lie. Okay? So, the one school of thought, which seems pretty well proved, is the Venus Williams sisters school of thought. I'm going to get my kids on a tennis court at age 6 months, and they're going to play tennis continually until they're the best tennis players in the world. But Roger Federer's parents didn't really care about sports, didn't like sports, and he just jumped from sport to sport to sport without any care in the world. And finally he sort of liked tennis more than some others, and he kind of stuck with it. And his parents were like, you need a real job. You shouldn't be doing this. It's like, and he didn't put in those, he didn't have all those special coaches. He just fucked around doing what he wanted to do in various sports and was pretty good at all of them. And then finally, eventually decided to get serious about tennis. So He's the alternative to that thing that Boba Fett says there, which is most who go on to super virtuoso their art do start young. Of course, the thing is, what your art is, whether it's what you're really talking about is a discipline, right? Some kind of thing that you can continue getting better at and you can't master, really. Like music or tennis or... the bad thing about sports is you'll probably peak fairly young because they take a big toll on the body, you know. But if you've been around this channel for a while, you've seen that at 45, I was not making very good music. And at 50, I'm doing a lot better at it. But I'm 50 years old, right? So it's like, I've been failing this whole time? Yeah. And I'm kind of not failing right now, musically. I'm pretty pleased with my recent compositions, my recent musical productions, my mastering, my mixing. It's getting pretty good. It stands up against other shit I listen to in the car, you know. It's like production-wise. Brady is an ESFP. Tom Brady's an ESFP. Tom Brady's a very happy ESFP. A very actualized ESFP. And I think Mr. B. Allen is a very actualized ESTP. Funny that he's you can really see just how robust 8 slot is in some ways, right? Because here he is, he's doing a storytelling channel that's just taking advantage of his ability to tell good campfire stories in an entertaining way, sticking with a pretty straightforward low effort background kind of thing going on that's just sort of mood appropriate, retelling these stories that he hears someplace else and being kind of emotive and just absolutely killing it. He's got 4.5 million subs. I should try eating lots of fruit. I should. Did you hear about the high school guys in the locker room in a school in Michigan who accidentally zoomed to the Bucks locker room? The kids talked to everyone from Tom Brady to the center. I did not hear about that. That's, there's others who are just past pushing 40 and just so good at what they do. Look, I mean, the thing is, I understand growth, especially in aesthetics, as a complicated kind of system. What I mean by that is plenty of artists peak and then don't really ever do anything good after that, you know? They have maybe one good album or whatever. That's not going to happen to me. And the reason is because it took me so long to figure out what I was doing. You know, it's like it's the upside of being the latest bloomer, is that your bloom, when it finally comes, it doesn't have the shelf life that other blooms do. Because the brute force of doing things wrong for so many years has taught you so much stuff that you don't have to worry about exhausting your creative wad. You know? It's like I feel incredibly better positioned now as an artist or creator or whatever than Corey. Even though he started out way ahead of me. He's relying on intuition and inspiration, whereas I'm relying on blind optimism, blind self-acceptance, like, well, that's pretty good even when it's not, you know. And I ignoring that you realize later on, oh, actually that was shitty. I thought it was good back then, but it was shitty. And you wonder, well, is that always going to be the case? And then you realize, no, it's not. You have a long time and a lot of material, you realize, oh, okay, this thing I made a long time ago is still good. Unlike everything else I made around it back then. But it is the case that things have identities, you know, it's like, and they stick. Songs that were good when I wrote them are still good. They haven't lost their identity. Guitar playing too has an element of physicality around it, muscle memory technique. Well, yeah, muscle memory is huge, and a huge reason why I've gotten so much better at as a musician is, but like, you know, I remember Boba Fett one time making me feel bad, successfully in a good way, which was basically he was saying, your music sounds amateurish. And I said, yeah, it does. I mean, obviously it does, or it'd be more successful. I wish it didn't, you know. And that kind of pushed me a little bit to try to make it sound less amateurish. Certain kinds of comments I'd get would push me. I you know, and I didn't like them at the time, but I appreciate them because I needed to hear it. Sometimes you need to hear some harsh truths, right? Well, yeah, Boba Fett. This is from 2006 or 5 or something. I didn't know what I was doing back then. And the thing is, even knowing what I'm doing now, it doesn't necessarily mean it's easy to record. I've been struggling to get a recording of 100,000 million years ago, mostly because I don't feel like I know what the drums are supposed to be yet. I'm still trying to figure that out. So, your Saturn. Saturn is the harvest. Your Saturn has opposition between Saturn and midheaven. He may struggle a lot and work hard to achieve his aims, although confronted by discouraging circumstances from time to time, he knows how to set off again and continue the fight. Well-developed artistic leanings, his balance can be upset by too great an independence. Questions traditional approaches to relating and wants to do things differently. Yeah. Well, thanks, Boba Fett. I appreciate it. Yes, my deck, we understand that Omicron is an anagram of moronic.
Hey, CJ O'Connell.
But most importantly, why aren't we panicking about the next variant, Nigglypuff? That's in Greek. That one's going to be terrible. Would that come after O or before O? No, after O. P. The next variant is Piggly Nuff. Sorry. Omicron, Piggly Nuff follows Omicron, Piggly Nuff and then Quong, Omicron. It goes Omicron, Piggly Nuff, and then Quong. Those are the next 3 Greek letters. And after Q, it's Repsilon, Sepsilon, Tepsilon, Uepsilon, Vepsilon, Wepsilon, Yepsilon, and Zepsilon. Hey, Oliver Linehan, listen, I want us all to check ourselves before we wreck ourselves, and remember, every word we say, everything we do, every moment of our life needs to be devoted towards saving lives.
Right.
So, whenever you say something, make sure it's a safety warning. Watch out! You might die of something. Who knows what it could be? I care about the new Dodge Omicron with Corinthian leather seats, rear view, rear assist, automated rear assist. How many here are heroically unjabbed? We're both jabbed. We've been jabbed, stabbed, pabbed, and wabbed. We got both shots. It's just like, pow, shoot, pow, shoot.
Yep.
And we're like, ow.
Ow.
He really dug around with that needle in the second shot, I tell you. No, we're not heroes. We're non-essential people, Boba Fett. We don't matter. All we get to do, we have the privilege of staying locked in our houses and thanking the heroes. Like the professional tennis players, your basketball coaches, your McDonald's drive-thru employees. Those are the real heroes. We're just non-essential scum.
Is he a hero?
Lol, what up, dude? Chill. Yo, my duck. Relax. I want you to do what they told me to do when I was in Shanghai getting a massage from a dude who didn't speak English and was twisting me in all kinds of weird directions. What he said to me was this: Relagus.
Relagus.
Yeah, it was quite the bend Eric every which way massage. Because their massages are big in Shanghai. They're totally non-sexual massages. It's just like maybe people here get their nails done, people there get a massage or something, you know? And I went to this place that was in the expat area, so it was a little bit more expensive, but it was still cheap compared to getting massages here. And I was like, okay, well, and they have these levels, you know. You can get your intern level masseuse, you get your professional level masseuse, and you get your expert level. And it's how many years of experience and training they've had. It's like a kind of a big thing in China. Well, it's still like $10 or something, so I went ahead and splurged for the expert one, because maybe it was like $20, I don't know. It wasn't very expensive. And man, he really bent the fuck out of me. This guy, he comes in and it's like I don't know what the routine is either, and we can't really communicate. So I'm like, am I supposed to go like this? Am I supposed to go like this? What am I supposed to do here? I've never had one of these things before. And so he didn't just like, squeeze your muscles or whatever. He like grabbed my arm and like pulled it all the back this way and then push it all the way over there and then grab my leg and twist it this way and that way and turn my back this way and that way. It was weird. It was like being...
It's like you're in a marionette.
Yeah, it's like being in a bendy bend party or something.
Yeah.
Like playing Twister involuntarily. And afterwards, they offer you either beer or tea. And I was like, tea. I was fairly fresh to quitting drinking. So, and it was like, after that really SI-ish experience, it sounded so good, a cold beer, but, can't do that.
Good for you. That's not easy.
Reminds me of An Idiot Abroad when Carl went through that in Thailand. I've never read An Idiot Abroad. Is that a book title or something? I was thinking about something that would live tonight, but YouTube doesn't allow me to stream from my home and my laptop is broken. Huh. Well, if you went live, then you'd be talking right now. You'd be talking, you'd be dancing, you'd be telling jokes, you'd be entertaining the people. In a fashion similar to what I'm doing right now with Rachel here.
Yeah.
So, what color were your auras? We never finished your story.
Oh, my colors. So I forget what the first color was.
Was it puce?
What's puce?
I don't really know what color it is, but it's the name of a color.
No, but I had lemon, like an aqua bluish green,
Alright. I want us all to try this thing, okay? On me. I'm going to stand up. I want everyone to close their eyes and do what Lady Lou did. I want you to close your eyes and think about Eric's color, okay? And then open your eyes, very soft opening, and sort of grok what color is emanating from me aura-wise. I'll stand up so you can see me a little bit better. Put this back a bit. Here you can see my whole aura. I'll pull up my sleeves in case they're blocking any of it. Can you see my aura? Alright, I'll stand still so you can look at it now. Now you just breathe, think, what color is Eric's aura? Breathe, what color is Eric's aura? Okay?
First thing that came to my mind was periwinkle.
Periwinkle. That's a light purple color? Or do you mean the blue periwinkle?
One of your both.
We mean two different colors when we say periwinkle.
Yeah, so whichever one is the color of your buckle.
Oliver says I'm emitting a chartreuse. Remember, I've got different chakras.
Ooh.
So my face should have one color. That's one chakra. It's called your face chakra. Your chest should have another color. That's called your ribs chakra. Okay? Your solar plexus has another color. That's called your solar chakra. Your belly button has another color. That's called your button chakra. Your junk has its own color. It's called your junk chakra. And the rest of you, your limbs, you got your limb chakra. Okay, so you got your face, your ribs, your solar, your button, your junk, and your limbs chakra. Each of them may have a different color. Or they might have the same. I don't know. Let's start with my face chakra. What is my face chakra? Let's see, what color do I feel coming out of my face?
Yeah, what do you feel coming out of your face?
It's kind of a key lime green. Key lime pie. I think
Key
my
lime.
face's chakra's color is key lime pie.
Key lime pie.
Now, let me see what's coming out of my ribs chakra. Seeing kind of a tannish brown.
Okay.
Kind of tan. Okay,
Tan.
so we had key lime pie and tan.
Key lime pie and tan.
Now what about my solar chakra? What color is coming out of my solar chakra? Sometimes you gotta rub it out. You gotta rub out the color to bring it out, to make it shine.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a copper. It's a copper color. Okay, so I go key lime pie, tan, and then copper. Now my button color. Kind of a really deep, kind of Concord grape purple.
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
Yeah, that's my button color. Concord grape. Now my junk chakra. Okay, what color is that?
Yes, kitty.
It's a blinding white.
Checking out his auras.
My junk chakra is a blinding white. And lastly, my limbs chakra. My limbs chakra seem kind of like pinkish, I guess. My arms seem kind of pinkish. My legs seem kind of like blackish, I guess. Like a 50s black and pink polka dot thing going on. With my key lime pie face, my tan ribs, my copper solar plexus, my Concord grape belly button, my blinding white light junk, my pink arms, and my black legs. I am quite a colorful character.
Isn't that such a colorful character? Yes. Oh, yes.
Turquoise from navy, a hint of greenish yellow. You do this differently. You blur your eyes and work outward from the ears. Turquoise from navy. Well, I don't know if you're aware of this, but I've never been in the Navy. Not even once. I haven't been in any country's Navy. I haven't even been in the Merchant Marines. So, you must be talking about the color, I guess, not the military branch. Alright, well, it's been a full hour and 48 minutes of live stream. I mean, that's a pretty solid hour, 48 minutes. I tell you, every single bit of it was the high point of entertainment of the 21st century.
21st century.
Every bit of it was the high point, which means that it was just a continual peak. But that's coming to an end now because I'm going to play a song or two. Oh, sure. That kind of entertainment, you can't buy that for 1,000,000 gold doubloons. You can only get it here. I'm talking with famous people. It's Earth's most precious commodity. Eric's playful banter. There's such a limited supply of it, and we use it for almost everything, from computer chips to dental supplies to brain transplants. What was your conclusion of the TI brain teaser? My conclusion was my thoughts about the algorithm are quite good when it comes to this idea regarding shorts. See, I think shorts get fed on the feed, not when they're dead, but when they get replayed over and over again. I was thinking of making a short that went something like this. Keep replaying until you understand exactly what I said. Keep replaying this until you understand exactly what I said, but say it kind of really mushy like that. And then, what did he say? What did he say? And then that will make the algorithm go, oh, this must be a good short. This is what I'm thinking. I'm testing this notion out. So that's why I did that genealogy one super fast. In addition to the fact that you only have 15-second limit, so you got to be kind of fast, right? You can't be slow. Between Marx and Mary in the dictionary, there was Mary. Between the deep blue sea and the devil, it was me. If ever anyone could help me with my obsession with the young Susanna York, it was Mary. My pink pajamas, she asked for something, I gave her the short answer. We read our stars out loud, and I knew then that we should have gone singing. But we stayed home instead, fighting on the waterbed, like a honeymoon couple on drugs, me and Mary. And the sound of happy couples coupling happily in the dark. While you and I sat down to tea, I remember you said to me that no amount of poetry can mend this broken heart, but you can get the Hoover out if you want to make a start. It's a Billy Bragg song. It's a good one. You know, it's a nice little song.
Yes.
No, it's a Billy Bragg. It's a cover. It's a Billy Bragg song. This is also a Billy Bragg song. It may have been Camelot for Jack. It may have been Camelot for Jack and Jacqueline. But on the Shake River highway, filling up with gasoline, she cussed both brothers buys a rich lady who's crying over luxury's disappointments. So he goes over and he's trying to sympathize with her, but he thinks that he should warn her that the third world is just around the corner. In the Soviet Union, a scientist is blinded by the resumption of nuclear testing, and he is reminded that Dr. Robert Oppenheimer's optimism failed the first hurdle. In the cheese pavilion, and the only noise I hear is the sound of someone stacking chairs and mopping up spilled beer, and someone asking questions and basking in the light of the 15 pain-filled minutes with the fanzine writer. One step forward, 2 steps back, will politics get me the rack? Waiting for the great leap forward. Waiting for the great leap forward. Well, I mean, he's a commie. Billy Bragg's a full-blown commie. So he does write some commie music, you know. When he's not writing love songs, he's writing Workers Unite. He's singing the Internationale, you know. You've been getting light pressure from family to lately shake my head? You've been pressured to shake your head more by your family? That's surprising. Amelia, go from that place. Take unto you the details of your grace. Amelia, when you rise up above, floating ahead and soaring like a dove, what do they say when they look at you then moving sideways? I can't remember it. I don't have it memorized, you know. That's the problem with that song. Only some songs do I have memorized. Such is the way of things. Such is the way.
You sounded great.
Thanks, darling. You've probably heard before, but I wanted to inform you something about Gerald. Gerald has a thought. Gerald has a lot. Gerald has a plot to get to Marjorie's tater tots. He's got a good idea for a name-changing business, thinking now about what it's called Christmas when they hire his firm to change that name. Gerald always thought there'd be chance enough to return to the work left rough. He'd get back to it eventually, but his visions piled up and his plans would interrupt all the work that started off so hopefully. Now his mind is back on his business, thinking of changing factless to listless. So how all the people will shout his name. And Gerald knows he understands ever more clearly now. He won't provide explanation regarding the why or the how. He'll see you and know you from inside your heart. Exciting, delighting, Gerald plays his part. And Gerald's real new, there's too much to do, and he drops the time in the underview. Too much to rebut, no where, now, and what. Too much time spent nitpicking the skew with you. Gerald has a thought. Gerald has a lot. Gerald has a plot to get to Marjorie's tasty spots. He's got a good idea for a name-changing business, thinking now about what it's called Christmas when they hire his firm to change that name. Gerald has a thought. Hooray for Hollywood. Can I tune my instrument to 432 hertz, please? It's magical in some way. No, I just tuned to regular A. Sorry. Yeah, I'm running a type sale. If you wanna be typed just right, you should be typed by me. While it's not totally free, it's almost ye. 'Cause you see I'm having a 50% off type sale. That's the best deal you're gonna find in all of typology. This year, next year, or any year for the rest of human history. I'm serial. It's true. You know, you're not going to have infinite opportunity to be typed by the host Eric, who one day, God willing, will be known as the guy who was right about typology, if nothing else. But I tell you, I did something useful today. I got my CBD Baby account set up so I can publish my songs officially now for like $7 a pop. Nothing's making me look bad. Everything makes me look good. Everything looks fantastic on me. Don't be talking shit. Oh wait, I'm sorry. You're talking to CJ. That's fine. Everything looks bad on CJ. That's fine. CJ, you make that shirt look like shit. You make it look like a giant turd on your chest. God, you were the worst male model I've ever met. It was 100,000 million years ago. Time ran slow. Nobody at the show. Place the slabs below. Let them go. They will start to grow. More years ensue. Tears gnashing through. Holy slabs come to view. Unchangingly true and eternally new. But when the slope appears in charge today, options at large show other ways. Get each a chance now. Once quick to check, but don't get caught standing on deck. The slope presents a fork. It's not easy stopping short. Too far along to turn around. Perhaps the better course was headed ever north. Now there's a fitter force, enemy ground. It was 100,000 million years ago. Time ran slow. Nobody yet to show. Place the slabs below. Let them go. They will start to grow. More years ensue. Tears gnashing through. Holy slabs come to view. Unchangingly true and eternally new. But when the slope appears in charge today, options at large show other ways. Get each a chance now. Once quick to check, but don't get caught standing on deck. The slope presents a fork. It's not easy stopping short. Too far along to turn around. Perhaps the better course was headed ever north. Now there's a better force, enemy ground. It was 100,000 million years ago. That's a very long time. We don't call those things concentration camps for quarantine people. Those are health retreats for the safely confined. We don't call those things concentration camps for infected people. No, they're just health retreats for those who are safely reclining. They're not essential people, that's fortunate indeed. But none of them has got to work for me to meet my needs. And I don't have McDonald's, not a tennis player neither. So I guess they can afford to risk getting a fever. Wow, 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 wow. Wow, 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 wow. So yeah, don't call them concentration camps for infected people. No, they are health retreats for those safely reclining in defeat. Reclining in retreat. Not stuck outside where they could die. And everybody knows that saving lives must be prioritized over everything. Everybody knows this, okay? We have to save lives. Well, Aliana, what do you mean what's happening? It rhymes with raving rives. I bet Rachel could guess. What rhymes with raving rives that we should be doing right now, Rachel?
Saving lives.
Saving lives. She's right. It's a very life-saving day in Los Angeles. And today we're saving more lives. Staying home underneath the sand. My biohazard suit to me and hand it to me, man. Saving lives in Los Angeles. Saving lives in LA. I'm no sort of evangelist, but I've got lives there to save. People shouldn't go outside now. Virus variants abound. And if you must, please stay inside though, because your body can't be found by sneaky COVID virus bit gnats who fly around and look for you. They want to make you cough and sneeze all until you and you and you. It's a life-saving day in Los Angeles. Cover up in hazardous suit. Beekeeper, still not safe enough. Needs a bigger rough piece of cloth around his face. Saving lives in Los Angeles. Saving lives in LA. Wear my mask just for some of the time because it's totally arbitrary. I can go to a stadium and watch some professional sports with 50,000 other people, and there's no problem to report. But when I go inside the weed store, I guess the COVID virus growls. It says, I love infecting people here, so you got to wear that mask and how. 'Cause we're saving lives today in Los Angeles by taking a bunch of panicky measures. Makes no sense. That's okay, my friends. 'Cause after all, if there's a chance it might save something, it's okay. If there's a chance that someone might die, we must say nay. It's called Saving Lives in Los Angeles. It's what we do around here. You, me, and Kitty. I've explained to Kitty, do not leave the immediate vicinity of our home. You are a vector, a disease vector, like every other living creature. You need to be locked down. Lock them down.
Should she be wearing a mask?
Burkas. Why are we not all wearing burkas? Why is burka not the ni hao, dwe wadani of life? It should be. Give me a burqa before I die. I need to cover all but my eyes until I learn that eyes can catch infections too. Then I'll need to cover my eyes as well. Then I'll need to cover them twice in hell, because in fact I'll be still vulnerable if I don't cover every bit of my skin all the time. I'm subjecting it to rays of the sun. Makes me brown, gives me cancer and kills me. That's not okay. Cover up today, burqa away. It's time to burqa, go burqa yourself. Because the skin cancer epidemic damage your health. You've got to cover your mouth, you've got to cover your skin. Your eyes are constantly at risk for exploding asteroids. When they get so bright they burn your corneas. When you look at them, we can't predict them almonds, so we better cover them up forever. So burqa up, my friends, burqa up today. We've got to cover from your hair down to your toenail. We've got to cover all your flesh, otherwise it burns to death and you get cancer. And we can't have that, it's a burden on society. And you can't drive if you want to stay alive. And even if you don't, you might kill someone before you arrive. And you can't have sex after all. There's STDs and HIV, which could cause you to end up in the dying tree. And we just can't ever have that. We have to save lives, and that's why you can no longer live, work, or drive. We can't have you risking your precious good health. That's why we deny you legitimate means of acquiring wealth. Good thing you're non-essential. You can safely sit at home. Well, those brave heroes on the front line risk their live, life, and bone. Yeah, you're non-essential. Fortunately, you don't matter. You can sit at home and enjoy just wallowing in pancake batter. Non-essential personnel, you can go to hell. You're just a disease vector waiting to kill all of the essential people who we need to do our things. True words have never been spoken. I am so proud of how the world has responded to this pandemic. We have robustly stood up and said, I don't care how stupid the idea is. I don't care how ineffective. I don't care how mindless. I'm gonna push for it. Because you know why? It generally is on the side of saving lives. That's all we need to know. It generally sort of lines up with saving lives. If we know that, we don't need to know anything else. Throw everything else out the window. Everything. Including your mom's face, please. God, you always try to hold on to that. He's Gregory in disguise. He hates the lies, wants to confront the men, always telling them, but every time he tries, they only run at. Again he is denied a chance to yell at them. Cause he's Gregory in disguise, hands in the pockets. Now he's walking down the drive, averts his eyes. He doesn't want you guys to realize that he's Gregory in disguise, hands in his pockets. Now he's walking down the drive, averts his eyes. He doesn't want you guys to realize that he's Gregory in disguise. He hates the lies, wants to confront the men, always telling them, but every time he tries, they only run and hide. Again he is denied a chance to yell at them, until the bridge brings a new approach. Secretly he'll try to encroach up on the guilty, then perhaps he'll get his chance to yell at them. He's Gregory in disguise, hands in his pockets. Now he's walking down the drive, averts his eyes. He doesn't want you guys to realize that he's Gregory in disguise, hands in his pockets. Now he's walking down the drive, averts his eyes. He doesn't want you guys to realize that he's Gregory in disguise. He hates the lies, but to confront the men, always the chance to yell at them. Because he's Gregory in disguise. Thank you, darling. You're a wonderful lady whose magnificence the world speaks of and yet continually fails to do justice.
Aw, thanks, babe.
You're welcome, my beautiful Wonderpants. A beautiful Wonderpants is a pretty good score as far as a significant other. Oh, we need to know. Oh, we need to see. Oh, we need to ban happenings by our means to judge a logic to life we divisively unlike and from which we'll rarely budge. People everywhere gather up, enemies outraged at how they miss. People everywhere gather up, enemies outraged at how they miss the sign. How do they set their priorities? These foreign backstabbing entities, ensuing heartache and misery follow necessarily from their savage ways. Insulting, cursing, and Desiree, we're stuck with such petty larceny. We all partition the rectories and call it destruction of the whole damn world. Judy shares now her limits, hoping Julie will too. Sherry shares for 4 minutes. He just can't share things like they do. And Judy always thought that she should have bought to when she had the chance to buy. Judy soon forgot the bad should have known, although she ever called, she'll die. People everywhere gather up, enemies outraged at how they miss a sign. How do they set their priorities? These foreign backstabbing entities, ensuing heartache and misery follow necessarily from their savage ways. Insulting, cursing, and Desiree, we stuck in such petty larceny. We all partition the rectories and call destruction of the whole damn world. That wasn't a particularly good rendition of it, but thank you, darling, anyway, for clapping for me. What do I want to play? What do I want to play? Oh, he came here with her. And what's the big problem that you can't endure? You seem so sure it's not appropriate claiming to blame things on Scott. Despite getting caught, she got you reframing for him. Framing for him. Framing for him. Going to the gym to keep yourself good enough again. Yeah, you guys both have lots invested. That's not a reason to stay around. I can't remember it. There's another one I don't have memorized. So try to see. Maybe I do have memorized. I've played it so many times, I think. Maybe I do. No, I don't. Well, that's just Eric being not having that memorized. That's all that is. Well, what songs do I have memorized? Well, I could always play no, not that one. Jim was in his mind. Jim was in his mind. I don't remember the words, but I can sing like we read fine. Anyone who ever played a part, anyone who ever had to make it, anyone who ever tried to start. In case you were wondering what that song was I was playing the other night that I didn't sing, that was it. That's not one of my really favorite VU songs. They got better songs than that. Like, I'm Waiting for My Man. I don't remember how it goes exactly though. You know, just Eric's fuck up hour as usual. I'm gonna play a couple songs that I have memorized. I don't feel like bringing anything up to look at, so I'm gonna play Trucker's Woes again. I come from New York City out to Florida. I come from old Chicago to California way, but I never left the place I love, 'cause I was out the door. And I'm 1/2 step from Utah and 2 miles from Idaho. So when you ask me, darling, do I have a trucker's woes? Well, I got to tell you, baby, from my head down to my toes. I drive all night and I drive all day to be home by the end of the week. And I got to tell you, baby, things are looking mighty bleak. I'm a couple of pair of underwear away from Tennessee. I'm driving west to see my bad girl, old Linda Lee. Oh, well, I'm driving fast and I'm drinking beer, radios on Winona Judd. And I'm 1/2 step from Utah and 2 miles out of the mud. When you tell me, darling, do I have a trucker's woes? Well, I got to tell you, baby, from my head down to my toes. Drive all night and I drive all day to be home by the end of the week. And I got to tell you, baby, things are looking mighty bleak. Looking mighty bleak, looking mighty bleak. Looking mighty bleak, looking mighty bleak. Well, I didn't play that very well, but yeah, I don't know, this is like my oldest song that I still play. That I wrote that I still play.
Wow, that's great.
Like the first song that I wrote that I kept, I guess you'd say.
Wow. It's really good.
Thanks, darling. This is another very early song that I kept. Oh, Matilda. Right. Oh, Matilda, has life been getting you down? Your high living ways nearly killed you. Getting drunk on the night on the town. Go home every night with a different man. Climb right into his bed. And now, old Matilda, you're tired and wan, wishing that you were dead. Oh, why, oh Matilda, why didn't you listen to me? You know, if you live like a devil, Matilda, you'll find yourself damned for eternity. Now, oh Matilda, I've been around. Go home every night with a different man and climb right into his bed. And now, oh Matilda, you're tired and wan and wishing that you were dead. Oh, why, oh Matilda, why didn't you listen to me? You know, if you live like a devil, Matilda, you'll find yourself damned for eternity. I said, why, oh Matilda, why didn't you listen to me? You know, if you live like a devil, Matilda, you'll find yourself damned for eternity in the lake of fire. What do I think about Gavin McInnes? Gavin McInnes, he's my chemist. He likes to pretend a dentist. He tried to drill my teeth. Okay. Every life lived reaches the time when the road splits in two. There are times, dark times, times of despair, times when it's hard to feel good. That's when I look for my sack full of solvency and that satchel of helpful goods. Satchel of helpful goods. Satchel of helpful goods. Satchel of helpful goods. Every life lived reaches an end when the road disappears. When I'm there, will there be anybody else around? Or will I travel all alone? That's when I look for a jackpot of solvency and that satchel filled up with bones. And that satchel, now nothing but home. Satchel of helpful goods. 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 you going to bed? You look like you're going to bed.
Yeah. I'm sorry to go to bed.
Don't be sorry. Go to bed. Have fun.
I love you.
I love you too. I use my heart and emotions primarily for that purpose.
I love your heart and emotions.
If you wanted more specifics on my methodology, I don't want to deny you the opportunity to critique my methodology. That's why I tried to explain I use my heart and emotions to love you.
I appreciate that.
Alright. Alright. Night and night. Don't forget to rock and roll while you're dreaming. Don't worry, I'm confident she can do it. She can rock and roll while dreaming. Some folk call me a rambling man, 'cause I do a lot of thumbing and a kicking cans, but I won't do an ass good to call me names. My daddy wasn't Willie Woodrow, I wasn't born and raised in no ghetto, just a white boy looking for a place to do my thing. I don't want no standout living, don't want any part of anything they giving. I'm proud and white and got a song to sing. Well, I said a few things and I'll admit it. If you wanna get ahead, you gotta hump and get it. Just a white boy looking for a place to do my thing. I'm gonna find me a wealthy woman in a line of work that don't take no diploma, 'cause I ain't got much to lose but lost to gain. You might call me a good time fella, but I ain't no black and I ain't no yellow. Just a white boy looking for a place to do my thing. I don't want no handout, living, don't want any part of anything they're giving. I'm proud and white and got a song to sing. Well, I said a few things that I'll admit it. If you wanna get ahead, you gotta hump and get it. Just a white boy looking for a place to do my thing. Small town boy been around a little, and I like the guitar and I like the fiddle, 'cause that's the kind of soul took to fan my flame. Blue-eyed Billy, feared and ready. I got to work it to be somebody. Just a white boy looking for a place to do my thing. I don't want no handout living, don't want any part of anything they're giving. I'm proud and mine and got a song to sing. Well, I said a few things and I'll admit it. If you want to get ahead, you gotta hump and get it. Just a white boy looking for a place to do my thing. Well, I said a few things and I'll admit it. If you want to get ahead, you gotta hump and get it. Just a white boy looking for a place to do my thing. Well, I said a few things and I'll admit it. If you want to get ahead, you gotta hump and get it. Just a white boy looking for a place to do my thing. Well, I said a few things and I'll admit it. If you want to get ahead, you gotta hump and get it. Just a white boy looking for a place to do my thing. That's how you're supposed to end it. Dramatically. You need to end it dramatically like that. Otherwise it sucks. I don't want challenging guitar. I don't want to have my fingers hurt no more, 'cause I've been playing a lot today. Too much by force astray, and that's why my fingers are sore. My fingers are sore. This song is kinda easy, just 2 chords I guess, but they all involve 4 fingers, which is not the best. If your fingers ever gonna hurt from overplaying the guitar, it happens every time you take and pat the stars and say, oh yeah, my fingers, they is bleeding to the bone. But they aren't really, 'cause they're long since left alone. Too time to callous up and be bad boys, because you're playing more amphetamines and you have different nights in store. Yeah, fingers are gonna hurt. That don't mean you should stop playing in the dirt. Fingers are gonna sing. That doesn't mean you should let them overwhelm everything. I'm just pretty much completely unhinged, random, just ungated extroverted intuition at this point. Don't gate my extroverted intuition. Stop using the noise gate on my extroverted intuition. It's cutting off the quiet parts. Another genius hit right there. I just pop them out one right after another. Just genius hit after genius hit. Like this one. I'm pretty sure this hit is genius, I'm pretty sure. I've measured it with my genius Geiger counter, and it click and click and click. Yes, it clack and clack and clack, saying this is a super genius, genius, genius track. I checked all the genius measurements I could find. I measured it in genius millimeters, made a genius line, and see if it lined up with that. And it did, in fact, and so I realized, hey, I'm a genius. Yes, this song's sure to go to #1. The best song that's been ever sung. The best song you have ever heard. It's better than the fish and birds. It's the greatest genius accomplishment in history. Better than a most intriguing murder mystery. It's the greatest thing that's ever been invented heretofore. Genius is just not the top, it's the floor, because this is well above that, well up into God's status. So great is this song, it will be top of the charts for 40 weeks and 40 days and 40 months and 40 years. #1 on top of the charts for 40 full years. That's how genius this song is. It will break the yes. It will take that thing by storm. What's it called? Billboard, oh yeah, and that is warm, warm, warm. 'Cause it's all on fire now with the name of this track. Moving up and down its bow, saying I'm #1. Make the people dance round the world. Everybody sing this song. Everybody knows it now. It's the greatest song in history. It plays all the time on the radio continually and always rhymes. What a wonderful accomplishment for Eric to have made it. I'm pretty sure that they should give him the Nobel Prize for being the greatest. That was a symptom of the vaccine, probably. A side effect. It was an unreported side effect of the vaccine. They haven't talked about it that much, but it's a huge, huge problem. Remember, if there's something wrong with you, it either is COVID or perhaps a side effect from the vaccine. If something's not feeling right, it's not 'cause you got a fight. It surely must be COVID or the vaccine or some variant like the Omicron, which comes along to scare us all till tomorrow's dawn. Oh yes. Be very, very scared. Are there still 7 billion people on this planet? How many billions have we lost so far to COVID? Are we down to 6 yet? Have we reached 6 billion people yet? Are we down that low? Have we lost that many people to COVID already? You know, with this plague that has decimated our world population, it's no wonder we're having problems. You can't expect 3 billion people to do the work of 7 billion people all in one day. When you're losing, what, half the population to COVID? I mean, it's tough. We've got to be losing at least that, right? How many millions have we lost? We're surely pushing 1 billion now. I just can't believe it. You know, we've been tolerating this shit for years now. We have been totally letting people die. You know, it's like in the olden days, they were so backwards and uncivilized. They thought things like, well, people die, you know, or you gotta die of something, things like that. Those crazy notions failed to save countless lives and ended countless others prematurely, tragically. It doesn't matter if we have to spend $10 trillion. If we can add just 1 minute to the life of one person, it's worth it. It's absolutely worth it. Of course, life is precious. Life has no price tag, okay? That's why I'm mandating cod pieces in my kingdom. Well, sure, because the crotch region is an emitter of biohazards of all sorts. Smells, liquids, unsightly affairs. I'm not anti-vax. I'm anti-vax that doesn't prevent the disease. I mean, that's kind of dumb, you know? I'm not opposed to vaccines at all. I'm totally in favor of vaccines. I just don't think that this vaccine works, is the problem. You know? I'm not worried about it having side effects or whatever. I'm not worried about it being some ploy to get me to take nanotechnology at my butthole or something. I'm not dumb. But from what I've read, it doesn't really work. As I predicted it wouldn't, way the fuck back when. You look at my early videos on COVID, I called all this shit, man. I called the fuck out of this shit. Hey, trampling on your rights, C.J. O'Connell, is a tiny price to pay if it makes just one person 1% safer. I mean, what matters more? Your so-called rights or someone's safety, someone's life? tell you one side effect of getting the vax. It hurts when they stab you. But it helps if you do this, it doesn't hurt nearly as much. Delilah showed me that. I never got one of those kind of big ass needle vaccinations before that I can recall in adulthood. I never get the flu shot. They encouraged us to get the flu shot, and I'm like, you get your flu shot, floozy. People get flu shots or floozies. Yeah, I'm like Nostradamus, mixed with the Buddha, mixed with Muhammad, mixed with Alexis de Tocqueville, French philosopher Alexis de Tocqueville. You'd take the vax if it were a pill for the bum. I bet if the vax were administered to women vaginally, you'd be fully in favor of women getting the vax. And it has to be administered by the penis vaginally. It only works if you stick the pill to the tip of the penis and administer it vaginally. It's a tricky kind of pill. It's a weird kind of pill. It gets activated by the little bit of pee remnant on the tip of your penis. So it makes it work. It needs that bit of pee. It's the chemical reagent. It doesn't count as a suppository if it's not medicine. No, that's not. You're not administering a suppository to yourself. Yes, you're humping yourself in the buttocks is what you're doing with that thing there. No, that's not a big pill. No, that's not a big vibrating pill. I'm sorry. I tell you guys, I'm gonna admit it to you. I need to get some sort of thing to get at my prostate, because it needs massaging. I gotta get up and pee too often. It's annoying. It interferes with my sleep. And when I have in the past gone to the trouble to try to get up there and get at it, then it's like better for a couple of days, you know? But it's high up there. It's hard to reach it. It's hard to reach it even with my middle finger. Have I tried the Hitachi? No, I haven't. I think, well, I read something online that a good thing to do is to get a drumstick from, not a chicken drumstick. That would be gross, okay? I mean, a drumstick the drummers use with a very, like a thin drumstick with a thin little, like a little ball on the end of it. And get up there and push on it with that thing, you know? You just like drum on it. Peckety cat, 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 with a drumstick like that. Cat, 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 cat. I'll record the sound of it, yeah. No, I don't. See, every time I talk about this, everyone's like, oh, you want to get pegged or something. No, I really don't want to get pegged. I really genuinely have a prostate issue that it's like I have to, I never messed with my prostate my whole life, you know? So, it's pretty enlarged because also I eat nothing but beef. So, that's not really that good for your prostate. Also, I have a long history of not being very regular in my poos. Also not very good for your prostate. So, you know, guys, younger men out there, take care of your prostate. You don't want to have to get up and pee every couple hours. It's frustrating. Look. That Clay says, it's okay, you don't have to want it. I am a long-term advocate of don't use the dirty hole for things. Don't put things up it, right? It's just for things going out. But sometimes it's like there's a design flaw here. There should be no part of the male sexual body that's inside. It should all be outside. But your prostate's really part of your sexual organs, and it's inside your body. Now, that doesn't make any sense. Especially in your poop hole? Why? Why put it there? It's a design flaw. That's what it is. Yeah, it's like, God. What's wrong? Oh, I got a thing today I gotta do. What? Oh, I gotta go home and Marilyn's gonna put on the strap on. You know, it's prostate therapy. Prostate therapy? Well, I want to prevent having prostate problems down the road, so this is what we have to do. Every Tuesday and Thursday. I don't know why she seems to enjoy it so much. See how you like it, she keeps screaming at me. I'm like, ow, ow, ow. Chill out, lady. Yeah, how do you like it? Bend over. Take it. Take it. Okay. God. A little bit of repressed masculine energy there, lady. Gosh. Yes, my prostate's much better, thank you. Well, I mean, I would title it Wrong Hole. Because then it could be a concurrent advertisement for my restaurant that serves only the anuses of various creatures. Also known as history's greatest restaurant. History's sure to be successful restaurant. Hi, welcome to Wrong Hole. Would you like a booth or a table? Would you like to sit next to the statue of the bull's anus or the statue of an octopus anus? Ooh, let's try the octopus. Look at it, sweetie. It looks just like a regular anus. It's amazing. Don't talk to me about the cancer, let me tell you. Apparently some of these things I do, well, I guess they loosely correlate with something about the whole cancer thing. I don't know. Probably a bunch of bullshit, I'm assuming. I haven't experienced it yet, therefore it doesn't exist. What? I can't get cancer. I never had it before. Says the SI person. Look, I've been me for my whole life. I've never had cancer before. Obviously, I'm not gonna get cancer. If you're worried now, you should do more healthy things. Like what? Like spooge on your mom's face? Stop pimping at your mom, fly guy. God, she doesn't like it. I mean, she loves it when I spooge on her face, but other than that, she really doesn't like it. I've got polyps and boils and pussy extractions and discharge and puncture wounds. Offering traction. These are a few of the grossest wounds. I've got abscess and boils and pus filled and hoils, and I've been tattled and potted and fail. Made worms and teared out open bed and thin. These are a few of the grossest things. Vaginal blood, blue splash party, every single night. With abscesses all filled with pus and some gross stuff and da-na-na-na inside. These are a few of my grossest things. It's my rendition of that song, Favorite Things. You may have heard of it before. You might be interested in how Matt debates theists. He doesn't debate theists. He debates low-hanging fruit, I'm sure. Anybody who tries to debate me goes, oh, well, but you can't answer like that, Eric. Right? I always win the theist debate because I point out the thing that wins it every time. Well, obviously, to be a theist is to engage in faith, and faith means belief without evidence or in the face of contrary evidence. So, obviously, I can't rationally support it, or else it wouldn't even qualify as being theism. You know what I'm saying? Vaginal blood is not beautiful. It is natural, but so is my explosive diarrhea. You still don't want it all over your face. Let's not commit naturalistic fallacies, Thecla A. Okay? Look, if you want to go post hoc ergo propter hoc, fine. If you want to go genetic fallacy, fine. But please, no naturalistic fallacies tonight. I just don't have it in me. It's just like wapa, you know? What time zone am I from? I'm from Los Angeles time zone. It's got its own time zone. Right now it's 12:07 in the AM. That's just past midnight. So, good time to look out for ghosts. If you see any walking by that I don't notice, please alert me. I am constantly on the lookout for the paranormal, though I've yet to encounter any of it. I remain hopeful. Watching paranormal caught on camera has convinced me that I too can catch paranormal on camera. I just need to find some first. I keep identifying all the flying objects I see. Almost all of them are planes, some of them are birds, some of them are helicopters. None of them are aliens. It's like, what the F? And by F, I mean fudge. Oh no, atheist, it looks like you've committed a category error. Faith isn't something like a position that you justify with argumentation. It's more like jogging. You don't ask me to justify my belief in jogging before I go jogging, do you? No. Now do you understand your category error? Oh, that's right. You're not just going to hear the truth of what I'm saying and realize you've learned something today. You're going to continue to argue with me. You know? You know what I'm saying? Russell Brand is a blight upon decency. He is run this run amok. He's extroverted intuition, befouled to the cause of evil. Look, there's nothing beautiful about vaginal blood, okay? It's just spoiled uterus. Do you say that when you're throwing away your spoiled meat from the fridge? You go, oh, it's beautiful. Remember, that's what your vaginal blood is. Okay? It's just the uterus that's spoiled on the shelf and you have to throw it away. Russell Brand's a moron. That's the problem. he's TI polar and it's like his capacity to spew and his capacity to be right do not line up at all. He can spew a great deal and be right almost none of the time. Very frustrating, Very, very frustrating. But, I mean, the thing is, C.J. O'Connell says, Russell Brand literally thought he was Jesus Christ himself in the height of drug delusion, enough said. Yeah. And the thing is, when I say, oh, well, I'm right about all I already have established the correct arguments, the best arguments and all the arguments for all these issues that people talk about and argue about and shit. But nobody will ever actually listen to me and go, oh, yeah, that is resolved. Why? Because they don't care about that. They want to have their arguments, What's not a metaphor? What's not a metaphor? Oh, he thought it was Jesus Christ himself. Well, I actually do think I'm righter than pretty much anybody else about almost everything. That's just kind of as delusionally grand a claim or belief to hold. The only difference, of course, I'm right about that, my own grand claim, whereas he was never right about anything, really. I mean, it's weird though, right? I actually do believe that about myself. Isn't that strange? That I genuinely believe, I basically, of all the things that people argue and stuff, I basically already know what the answers to all of those things are, and I'm correct. And to the extent that there's not people agreeing with me, then I'm exclusively correct. And I mean, that's a incredibly self-aggrandizing position to hold. But I don't know. It's like when I started doing stuff on the internet, I expected to face a lot stiffer competition in terms of intellect, arguments, stuff like that, right? It's a wasteland. There's not much of anything going on outside of talking with famous people in the psychology, typology kind of community anyway, that's intellectually robust. Whenever anybody says Gavin, I think Gavin Newsom, who was a terrible, 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 terrible governor. It's too bad though, cause other artists I love, like Kanye West, Bradford Cox, and Vincent Gallo, has done the weird things posing as Christ. I don't think I'm Christ at all. I am not without sin. I don't have everything figured out. Like, I'm no saint, and I'm no enlightened Zen guy either. And I'm no, like, hey guys, I figured it out, this is the way, I'm just right about all the specific things people argue about. Which is totally useless, really, mostly. I'm not quite sure what good it is to be right about everything that people argue about. But maybe it's some good. Some people listen to me. Of course, you get your NI instrumental types, you get your ENFJs, your ESFPs. They're going to be incredibly antagonistic to the fact that I'm saying all this stuff, because it's trying to finalize what they want to continue to use and move along for different purposes as a flexible truth. It's instrumental to them, right? It's not a destination. I mean, Sam Harris is pretty good. Sam Harris is better than a lot of people that purport to be intellectuals. Kanye's been doing good, but he's so popular and it's weird. We listened to a Kanye song in the car today. We listened to the one about being Christ-like. You know, that one where his dad says some stuff at the beginning or whatever. Or maybe some guy playing his dad, I'm not sure. I've always said Kanye's an ENFJ. Am I sure Sam Harris is an INFJ? No, I don't know for sure. It's just my opinion. I've not typed to the guy, so how could I possibly know for sure? What do you think he is? Follow God. Honestly, kind of amazing. What do you mean? Oh, that song? Is that what that song's called? Follow God? It's a pretty good song, yeah. It's very Italian sonety. Like, it's the way he repeats the words and moves them further along in the quatrains is like an Italian sonnet. Kind of neat. I don't know if you're familiar with the Italian sonnet form. I just learned about it like a month ago or something when Jeffrey had to do one. I didn't know what it was. I wouldn't have known 2 months ago what it was. I was just saying. But yeah, it is kind of like an Italian sonnet. Yeah, good for you, CJ O'Connell. You're some kind of scholarly scholar, aren't you? You must have gone to scholarship school on a scholarship. Where you learn to scholasticize, scholarize, make skulls without eyes, and equivalent some such as. I'll pull this bull. I just saw they had some sort of updated rules on drugs and stuff for YouTube, so I'm a little bit concerned about pulling bulls on camera. I guess it'd just be slightly off camera. I haven't actually read the updated rules yet, so I don't know. I'm a little skittish when they update the rules because last time they updated them, I didn't really read them and I didn't really take it seriously. And I got a strike for that bullying C.S. Joseph video, and it stays on my channel forever. It's a warning, but still. So the thing is, here's the deal. Maybe you guys can help me come up with some ideas with this. My basic notion is, the key to making a good short is to have people watch it multiple times. You need to have more than 100% viewer retention for a 15-second video in order for it to hit the shorts feed. So one of my ideas was that genealogy question, which some people are going to have to listen to multiple times, and yeah. That's interesting, CJ O'Connell. I'm reading all of that. I have feelings about it, but just going to leave it like this. Your video has to have a cyclical looping nature. Right, so one thing I may do is I might go to CD Baby and publish my song, I'm the best, I'm the greatest. Because then, like, YouTube will put it like automatically at the bottom and stuff like that. And then I think I can get it into the shorts music that I can use. So, like right now, I can't, there's no way to bring a song from your phone onto your short. You have to use the music that YouTube lets you use. So I think that's the best one to do. And I'm thinking, like, you know, what I want to do is either get some footage of like a peacock, for example, like going like this, like talking, like squawking in time with the words, or find if I could get somebody who would lend me a child, you know, if I get a little kid to do it, that would be like cute, you know, and then that's gonna work well, right? Or you know what I need to do? I should get Delilah to do it and have her dress in a way that accentuates her boobs. That'd be good. Or like one of her hot friends or something. That would be good. Or if I could get like a dog to bark in time with it, that would be good. You know? You see what I'm saying about how then if I can get the loop of it just right, and it would just go around, I'm rich, I'm the best, I'm the greatest. I've been trying to do that for years, Oliver. I tried to get her to help me with my YouTube channel a long time ago. Put on a tighter shirt or something. Come on. Let's maximize those virtues. Let's get Daddy some viewers. They're not viewing you, Dad. They're just looking at my boobs. Well, maybe they'll find what I'm saying interesting while they're here. Who's a pretty boy? Am I a pretty boy? I'm not really very pretty. I'm more rugged. Or just misshapen, I guess. Deformed. He's got a face only a mother could love. But you see what I'm saying, CJ O'Connell, about having the right person do it. It shouldn't be me, ideally. It's got to be something cute or boobish. Like, if I could get 15 seconds of some, like, anime thing. 15 seconds of anime clips of characters going like, or something like that. That might work. I could clip them together and then film that vertically with my phone from the TV, because you gotta film it vertically. You're really locked into some limits with the I mean, I've tried a variety of things and I've had some successful shorts. This is the thing that makes me interested in the shorts thing, because, thank you, Rachel. I wasn't actually fishing for a compliment or anything. Thank you for loving me so much and thinking I'm attractive and all that stuff. I appreciate it. You're a wonderful woman. You're my all-the-time pal. I'm not deformed, I'm reformed. What am I doing? What am I doing right now? That's the question. What did I just say I was going to do? It was something really important. Hugely, hugely important. What was it I was going to do? I was going to do something. What was it? What was I going to do right now? I don't remember what I was going to do. Did I say to the people here right now the thing that I was going to do? If so, could you tell me what thing I was going to do? I can't remember the thing I was going to do. Oh, what? You want to hear Tiki Tiki? Is that what you're saying? What video? I don't know what video. That's what I don't remember. I don't remember what video. But I'll let you guys hear Tiki Tiki, okay? It's pretty important.
Is the best beat that you ever heard for rapping. If you think it's a good beat cause it's trap, then you don't know very much about trap.
That's a pretty important work. It's a seminal work. You could call it. Call it a very seminal work. Do you find Dawkins attractive? I find Dawkins Creek attractive as a television show. Or was that Dawson's Creek? Hard to know, easy to remember. It's pretty aggressive. It's pretty aggressive. Oh, there's my links for idiots. I have a notepad document called Links for Idiots. This is a favorite one of mine to share when I remember. It really says a lot by saying a little, which is saying something. And that really isn't saying much, but that says everything. So go ahead and watch that right now, everybody. Hurry up. Go ahead and watch it. I'm going to watch it too. I have to watch it in secret. Now, doesn't everybody really need that link at some point? Who hasn't needed that link at some point to give to somebody? We all have. We've needed to share that link with somebody. It's an important link. It tells us a lot about who we are and why that person needs to stop being so Ray and Guitarded. You know. If you haven't watched it, please do. It's pretty important stuff. Now, let's go ahead and share another one of my favorites from the document called Links for Idiots. This is a great one. You can't go wrong with this. This is my favorite of all time. Okay. It was from some show I watched. It was on Netflix, I believe. It was called I think it's called Daybreak, actually. Maybe. Might have been called Daybreak. The name came to me all of a sudden. Now, what I want you to do is watch this one here. This is my favorite. You may remember this from me showing it to you before. It's pretty fantastically grand, okay? Okay, quit worrying about who they are and worry about what she's saying, okay? What's she saying? She's telling you something important. Keep it in mind. Now, let's click this one and watch this one. Equally important. For Shizo, equally important. Maybe more important. That video makes me feel so understood. It's like somebody understands what it's like. Oh. The part of that is so hilarious when the other guy gets up to help and he goes, okay, let me help. Let me explain this. What he's saying is, you're a shitty drummer because you only have one arm. And then that main guy, he goes, no, don't help. That's hilarious. I'm making a pot of coffee, so don't shit in my soup while I'm gone. Is I guess my message to you. Don't shit in my soup while I'm gone. I'm just going to the salad bar. Don't shit in my soup while I'm gone. I'll be able to tell from near or far, 'cause your shits are big and my soup is small, and it will fill it up. It's not that tall. So please don't shit in my soup while I'm away. Yeah. Did I like Norm? I didn't really pay much attention to him until after he died, and I started watching some of his stuff, and I thought some of it was quite good. I think he got a little caught up in his affect. A few too many you-knows. I include a certain stuff in my comedy too, but I think I'm a lot more restrained with it. Because it's kind of like a way of keeping a funny thing without actually having to make jokes, It's literal tyranny. It's tyrannical. Some of it already got struck down by courts. So don't fret your little pretty head too much about it, alright? Grief isn't logical. Grief isn't logical. And yet, something we need to experience anyway. How dare you criticize Norm? He's a literal legend. You are a tiny, insignificant ant compared to him. Humble yourself. Well, I mean, the thing is, we all need to humble ourselves, right? We all need to remember that it doesn't matter who we are. Just because you work at a fancy French restaurant doesn't mean I can't cook a hamburger just as good as you. Maybe even a better one, you know? I critique all artists. I don't necessarily say that I do everything better than them. I'm not saying I'm funnier than Norm Macdonald or a better comedian than him. I'm not a comedian, you know? I'm a guy who makes a lot of jokes on the internet. I have critiqued that a lot of his earlier stuff especially is too imbued with his effective humor rather than his joke making. Part of the joke is the time it takes him to get there and stuff, but it took him a while to get the pacing down on that, you know? He's still a human being. He's still an artist. He still had to grow. And his later stuff's a little cleaner. You know, some of his shit's fantastic, right? The joke about that he did on the Dennis Miller show about proud gay parents who are proud of their gay son is genius and super hilarious. Like, just perfect. It's just fantastic. So don't get me wrong, right? It's like I do appreciate people who make great shit. All right? I appreciate genius whenever I see it. I genuinely do, you know? And I watched a fair amount of Norm stuff, which is a lot, right? It is not easy to garner my attention. Dennis Miller is such a fucking douchebag. He is. I tell you what he is. I think he's an ENTP, and he's a disgrace to the type. He's an absolute disgrace. It's like, you gotta get your FE a little bit better in gear than that, Dennis Miller. He needed more legitimate space in which to grow as a person, you know? And he didn't have it, and he had to try to figure it out without SIing it out enough, and he couldn't. Sycophant is the right word. In general, not just for Norm Macdonald. Right, he tries to bridge the gap between his intellectualism and regular people by being effusive, but it just fails. You know, it's like, and this is the sort of thing that anybody who's trying to be any kind of artist or creative type or whatever is going to unavoidably do. When I look at somebody like Dennis Miller, I think, they were for the grace of God go I. When I look at somebody like Conan O'Brien, I think, they were for the grace of God go I. Both of them are terrible hosts, you know? Like, Conan's a terrible host. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's not operating in a real enough environment. It's like he's gonna get too much affirmation regardless. Although he had a rough going of it at first, I remember. You know, Jon Stewart was a lot more ready when he went to The Daily Show, but he learned a lot after the fact to realize he'd been making a lot of bad rhetoric, you know? In what way do I mean host? Well, what I mean is exactly what I said. He tried to bridge the gap between himself and regular people because his act was lots of big words and he never really figured out another act. He had to make himself try to be appealing by being effusive about things sometimes that he liked, right? If you remember his brief stint on Monday Night Football, that's exactly the strategy he took. He tried to be effusively positive about it without which, it just didn't work. It was just a big boo failure boo. Like, I would do a much better job as a football commentator. I'm a real football fan. That's the thing. What's a better way to qualify pretentiousness? Well, to flip back and forth. Like, sometimes I'm pretentious sounding, but a lot of times I'm talking about poo. I'm still very childlike. Conan doesn't pull it off very well, though. Self-deprecating humor is pretty important, but he doesn't do it well. He always seems uncomfortable in his own skin, self-aware, too much. Same as Jimmy Fallon is not good either. I could do a better job than any of those people. Not like, I'm not saying I could do a better job than Letterman. Letterman was really good. Johnny Carson was really good. Is Letterman still on? I don't even know. But, and Jon Stewart was generally a good host when it came to interviewing people, by and large. He maybe didn't give them quite enough room to talk, but he was a much more professional ENTP than Conan or frickin' Dennis, what's his name? I don't doubt that Conan can write some good shit, but it's the fact is I'm at my best when I'm in a funny mood, just riffing on shit and making jokes. And the thing is, it's like if I were a late night talk show host and I had a scheduled program every night where I had some guests and I had to do a little monologue and I had writers and stuff, and it had some structure to it that I followed every night, I would do a much better job than Conan O'Brien or Dennis Miller, for sure, or again, what was that guy's name? Arsenio Hall, or Jay Leno. I didn't think did a good job. Jimmy Fallon, I don't think does a good job. Jimmy Fallon's always laughing at his own jokes, and it's really like awkward, sickening way. You need FE, What? I mean, I don't think they're doing a good job. Listen, note, Fly Guy, I'm not saying I'd be the best person to do that job. I'm not saying I'd be better at doing their job than anybody else. I'm saying I'd be better at doing their job than they are because they're bad at it. Not because I'm so great, okay? Let me make that clear. Dick Cavett annoys the shit out of me. What's his name? The guy who started the Tonight Show, Steve Allen. He is great. Steve Allen was great. I'll tell you who's a fantastic host. Carson Daly. Carson Daly's fantastic. I don't think I could ever do as good a job as Carson Daly in hosting most anything. Carson Daly strikes this perfect balance between disinterested and engaged. He's always kind of aloof, but he's so comfortable in his presentation that it's just comfortable spending time with him and whoever he's interviewing or whatever he's doing, you know? He's a great host. Steve Martin, fantastic host for like an awards show or something. Amazing. Let's see. I mean, the thing is, Fly Guy, the most important thing is we have a tendency to put famous people up on a pedestal, you know? Like, that if I'm comparing myself against successful professionals, that my ego's out of control. Why? They're just regular dudes like you and me. You know? Primarily, the difference is they've got a team of people and they're managed and it's a project, you know? Ricky Gervais, is that his name? I didn't see him, but I don't know. Graham Norton, I've never heard of him before. Well, remember Canadian, remember Leaf, I'm claiming simply that I would do a better job than the people I listed that I am saying are doing a poor job. So even if I did a poor job, I just have to do a less poor job than they for my claim to be upheld. Okay? I'm not making claims about how great I am or whatever. I'm saying, remember, these people who have a lot of notoriety, sort of presence in people's minds and stuff, they're just regular people like you and me. It's extremely hard to make something ultra compelling. But it's not nearly as hard to make something successful if it's a team project of some kind, like a motion picture or a produced and funded show or something like that, where you've got people fulfilling the various roles that need to be filled. Around here you've got Eric, and Rachel participates sometimes, but you know, she's my wife, not my employee. You know, so it's like she's just not, that's not what she's for, you know. So the thing is, I don't feel egotistical for saying I would do a better job than Mia. I'm quite comfortable in front of the camera. You know, I have a long history of performing and, you know, being on stage and being in front of people and handling the bright lights and the pressure and stuff. I'm not, in fact, the more intense the pressure gets on things, the calmer I tend to get. It's when things get stupid by surprise that things get intense, you know? James Corden? I'm not sure who James Corden is. Johnny Carson was great. Johnny Carson was really, like, restrained. You know? I think he was an ISFJ probably. His humor was good and funny, but mostly he was just a really great interviewer. He got the best out of his guests that he could, and he was real comfortable to be, you know, it's like, I think a host needs to make the people present comfortable and feel like they're in safe hands, you know? What I mean by that is, for people who are FE sensitive, they want to make sure that the person who's running the thing that they're watching isn't going to lead them into awkward ground that makes them feel cringy, or, you know, they want to be entertained comfortably. And the role of the host is to sustain that comfort. I think the biggest mistake that hosts can make is to think they're supposed to sustain a higher energy than they should try to attain. The energy is going to be there anyway to some extent, because you've got things that will get rises out of either the host or the other person or whatever. You've got things that will get rises out of the audience. You've got a live audience there. You've got a band there. The host needs to not make the mistake that Conan makes a lot, which is trying to dictate the energy too much instead of letting his guests native charisma, because Conan doesn't really have any charisma. You know, he needs to let his guest native charisma do more of the work. I don't see myself as Howard Stern-y at all, because I see Howard Stern as somebody who was into pointless prank and spectacle that I would never be into. I see him as mean, and I do not see myself as mean. I don't like Howard Stern. I like myself. So I guess there's that. I'm gonna have to go soon. I'm feeling like kind of woozy, like I need some... Oh, I made a pot of coffee. Like I need some food or beverage or something. Oh, that's right. They have some sort of new rules, so I'm gonna try to not smoke this on camera. I don't know if this I haven't read the rules yet. I gotta read them. I don't want to get in trouble with YouTube for something stupid again. I mean, yes, I was mean to C.S. Joseph in that video, but do I really have to get a permanent warning on my permanent record that lasts forever? It looks ugly. I look at it all the time. I go, oh, I don't want that. Well, until I read the rules. I need to read the rules and see what they say. I didn't take seriously the rule change last time, and it ended up getting me a warning, and I don't want that to happen again. Yes, Leaf Trimmer, we understand that you like Conan. Leaf Trimmer and Conan sitting in a tree. ADMIRING, admiring each other. One song for goodbye, and that's it. It's time to go. What's a good goodbye song? What's a good goodbye song? I guess I'll just play Cloudy Day in Los Angeles since it's my favorite song to play. It's a very cloudy day in Los Angeles. And today we run out of time. Troubles past, struggles still to come. The day is nearly done, but someone buy us some more time. I fucked it up. I fucked it up. The Klonopin's kind of kicking in. There's a Capricorn. It's a very cloudy day in Los Angeles. And today, run out of time. Struggles past, troubles still to come. The day is nearly done. Will someone buy us some more time? Cloudy day in Los Angeles. Cloudy day in LA. I'm no sort of evangelist, but I have something to say. Life can strange the way forgiving to those who stay awake all night. A voice is mostly they giving. They'll try to sap your will to find. But whether I'm supposed to be here or just be soon forgotten, noise is sort of based on what I see here and also on what I avoid. It's a very cloudy day in Los Angeles. And today we run out of time. Struggles past, troubles still to come. The day is nearly done. Will someone buy us some more time? Cloudy day in Los Angeles. Cloudy day in LA. I'm no sort of evangelist, but I have something to say. Something to say. That was pretty good. That was nice. El Nino, my ass. You call those storms? Where is the rain? Those drizzles don't count, I drizzle more. When I pee in the sink, which is just the right height to catch all of the undesired splatter. When I'm and pour water inside. And I'll say, hey, Mr. Cloud, drop it from the bottom. Hey, Mr. Cloud, don't you drop it from the bottom. Hey, Mr. Cloud, drop it from the bottom on me. The second night, when you start to feel strange and you're wondering, strange and you're wondering. I don't remember how this song goes. That's too hard to play. It's just like I gotta figure it out every time. I do have a thing that reminds me how to play it. You know. I want that too. I wanna be wanted. Not sure it's something you can do. You said one thing you told me when you're mine if I want it. I'm yours, I want that too. I wanna be wanted. Not sure it's something you can do. I'm yours if I want it. You're mine if I want that too. I wanna be wanted. Not sure it's something that you can do. You said, you told me, whatever you said. I don't have word in my head. Good mind if I want it. I'm yours if I want that too. I wanna be wanted. Don't know it's something you can do. You said, you told me, whatever you said. I knew those words might reverberate in my head. I'm yours if I want it. You're mine if I want that too. I wanna be wanted. Not sure it's something that you can do. You said, you told me, whatever you said. I want that too. I wanna be wanted. There's something you can do. That's the closest I've ever come to playing that song. That's the closest I've ever come. So I don't even regret just making you endure that practicey garbage, but I could almost play it for stretches of it. I've never been able to play that chord progression and sing it at the same time. So that's an accomplishment. That's going to draw this live stream to a close. Thank you for being here. You endured a lot of nonsense tonight. You brave souls are the true heroes on the front lines of Eric's live streams. And that saves billions, trillions of lives? I can't even count the number of lives it saves. So thank you, heroes. Thank you so much for your heroic sacrifice for being here despite the length and dropping quality of this live stream.